Franz. It's
Of
not like
course.
I'm traveling every week for pleasure.
No.
But come the holidays, as a single man, I chose to get out of town and warm up a little bit. Like you went to Chicago to Christmas bars.
I did.
All he did was go to Christmas bars.
Kind of weird.
They're
I
great.
kind of feel like it was the same Christmas bar.
Weird.
Christmas bars?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, I mean, were you going there to hit on girls?
What do you think?
Come
What
on,
does
man.
he do?
I'm just trying to have fun.
They hit on him. That's why he wears his hat.
I'm trying to have a good time. Just let me have a good time.
Yeah.
Here's the hat comment. If people are wondering,
Okay.
Ranji has a great head of hair.
He does.
fine.
He has
It's fine.
beautiful hair.
It's fine.
And I said you should take off your hat because man, the ladies would be all over you. And he said, well, they already are.
No,
And so
yeah.
now we know he's wearing the hat to keep the numbers down.
Disguise himself.
No, to keep the numbers down.
Yeah.
Keep it manageable.
Yeah. Here's the real problem with the hair thing. I'm just very lazy, and you have to allot another 5 minutes worth of time
Oh my gosh.
to get your hair done.
Yeah.
You know?
And you with your busy schedule, the kids, everything you got to do.
Oh, those kids.
So one of the things about the dating world is they say you got to have your light on to let people know you're looking for, a significant other. So if you start walking in here with your hat off, shall we assume like, oh, Ranj is back in the
Well, see,
dating
now got
scene.
the light on.
Yeah, he's got the light
I've
on.
never heard that. So
His light never goes off.
well, Kelly's lit up all the time too. I mean,
Totally.
it's,
Well, yeah,
yeah.
well, you're usually there with me.
Yeah. Well,
Now
hey, what?
I can't do it now.
What?
Go without a hat because you keep talking about it.
Because it's
now I
just
can't
such
do
a waste.
I don't think I've ever been in studio with him when he's not wearing a hat.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's laziness.
I like the hat. I
Thanks.
mean, I'm on board with the hat.
Thank you, John.
I
Do
should wear
you,
hats.
do you have any cowboy hats?
No.
No, you're not into
that's
costumes.
that's
right?
not my
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
No.
What about the Samuel L. Jackson hats? The
Beret.
Are those
beret?
berets?
Yeah, like a beret.
Yeah, I don't think I could pull that off.
No.
either.
Yeah. A do rag?
I can't pull that off.
I can tell you right now, you should never wear a beret,
Why?
even though you're French.
Why?
Ranger.
Yeah, why?
It would look stupid
Well,
because you're flirting with looking stupid anyway.
Yeah.
So if you wore a beret,
Wow.
John.
There's just so much comedy
Yeah, it's,
in the studio.
Is there a the show therapist? Like, do you all ever
Carol
get the
Daniel.
Yeah.
I got
Oh,
to talk to her
yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah. You kind of
She's the
lay out your
therapist?
problems?
We had a meeting. Ranj left, and as soon as Ranj left, Beth Coughlin, the news director, and Carol Daniel sat down and we talked. We had a therapy session.
Mm-hmm.
what I've figured out is
Mhm.
that pretty much everybody in the station could be charging Amy $50 an hour because she's in therapy the entire day.
Really?
This whole place exists to make Amy feel better about herself.
Oh, and this is the place I picked. This is going great. Working with Rod,
What's
I'd
a-
like to feel better about myself.
What's a therapy session with Kevin Killeen like?
Kevin is a deep thinker.
He
Now,
is.
in
Oh, he's
Kevin's
something.
defense, he is a very deep thinker.
I love Kevin
He
Killeen.
ponders the big questions.
Yeah.
And answers them.
Like I said, Kevin walks like a man who's seen some things and he doesn't like what he saw.
He would go if he was your therapist,
Yeah.
it would be 45 to 50 minutes of a monologue that you're not exactly sure where it's going.
Right.
And then when it's over, he looks up at the clock and says, "Time's up."
Yeah.
And you go, "What the hell just happened? I'm paying for this?"
So you guys probably get this. Do people ever come up to you and say, I get this a lot about you. What's Amy really like? I get that about Kevin Killeen all the time. And my answer is, as he appears.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As
he
advertised.
as he sounds, that is
Yeah.
Kevin Killeen. It's not like that's a shtick.
No,
That's truly the man.
no, they are exactly like this.
Yeah.
That's because I didn't know I was going to be on the radio. I was, a writer and I tutored, and then I accidentally got this job, I think, through a clerical error. And so I didn't know to be anyone else. This is who I am. And when you hang out with me, it's exactly
What
like
were you
this.
tutoring?
I was tutoring,
Uh-huh.
yes, writing and English literature for the most part.
English literature.
Yes.
Nice.
You know,
English literature.
unbelievable.
Wow.
Can I ask a personal question?
Yes.
Your hair, I like it today.
It's poofy.
Yeah. So is your hair normally curly?
No,
No.
she's overcorrecting from something that happened last week.
So
Oh,
what
you
happened
share.
was
Yeah.
I conditioned my hair
Uh-huh.
to make it silky.
Mhm.
Well, when you do that, it gets flatter generally, right? That's how you have like straight,
Okay.
flat hair. And Glover walks in the studio and goes, "Oh wow, looks like you got low flow hair," which is a Seinfeld reference. Because I said, "What's low flow hair?" He's like, "Oh well, looks like your shower pressure. There's not enough shower water pressure in the shower to get the soap out of your hair." And I said, "Well, I did condition it, and then I have been thinking about that for about 9 days."
Yeah.
Well, I like it.
These are
Whatever you're doing
problems.
there.
These are problems I will never have again.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't have to worry about the conditioner. I do use shampoo on this
On what?
wonderful lock of hair I've got here.
Why?
Well, because you gotta clean it.
Couldn't you just use bar soap?
No, it's hair. You don't put soap on hair. You put shampoo on hair.
God, well, show us the hair.
It's all over the place here. But you don't. The shampoo is made for the hair, and the soap is made for everything else. That's not the hair.
I have more scruff on my face than you have on your head.
Well, I'm just telling you.
I
you
don't
should-
use shampoo
Well,
on
you
my
should.
scruff.
You should. I'm just saying. Yeah,
Hey, who is your?
I like shampoo. I'm not giving up shampoo.
Right?
Will you use shampoo even when you're using the Bic on your head?
I don't use the Bic on my head.
But
I
no.
I'm not putting the Bic on my head.
But if you did, would you still shampoo?
Well, yeah, but I'm not putting a Bic on my head. Now, who wants to buy? I'm not doing that.
Why not? You afraid of cutting yourself?
Yes, I cut myself shaving here the other day.
Is it a special shampoo for guys who have less?
Oh, no, I use the Ocean Breeze, Michael.
Ocean Breeze?
Ocean Breeze. It is-
Unbelievable.
Yes.
Ocean
You
Breeze.
squirt a little, and you don't have to use much when you got hair like
You
that.
don't
Yeah.
say.
And but you squirt a little of that Ocean Breeze on.
Yeah. It lifts you up, right?
Oh, it takes you right there.
It does,
You're
doesn't
right
it?
there on the bank, and on the sand between your toes, and then you snap it. Oh, it's wonderful.
You
Okay.
can probably get away with the Lever 2000 though.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a fine soap.
It is.
My cousin Doug used to make Lever soap.
Really?
He worked at Lever Brothers on. I guess that was Natural Bridge, Page, whatever it was.
Would you ever use Dawn dish soap?
I do use Dawn dish soap.
For
On
what?
your head?
No, on my dishes. You don't put
Oh,
dish
okay.
soap on your head. You put dish soap on your dishes. Yeah.
But they also on ducks. You know what I mean? Whenever
Yeah,
there's
when the
oil
oil's
spill,
there, yeah.
they use Dawn dish soap.
Because
Do
it
they?
cuts through
To
the
clean the ducks.
grease.
Oh, that's right.
Because whenever I use Dawn dish soap, I want to clean a duck.
Yeah. Well, it cuts through that grease. That's important.
Yeah.
You can't have grease
So
on
if
it.
Really, they'd have the commercial with
Yeah.
the water and then the grease pooling on
Yeah,
top of the
so
water,
sad.
and they would drop the Dawn into it, and then you see the grease
Yeah.
float away. Like, this is magic stuff. And I'm like, that's just a ripple.
Yeah.
I'm so good, but I wash my clothes with Dawn. I love it.
What the hell? What was that?
Apparently the ducks get Dawn.
Oh my goodness. I love it.
Hey, do me a favor. Would you take us to break, please?
Okay, we'll be right back with Squishy Baby.
What?
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to The Dave Glover Show and all the news, talk, sports, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm in the medical field, and I think when you start out these things, everything from the advertisement sounds so good that you're psyched up for it to work. It's working. Anyway, I'm happy.
Balance of Nature, it has made a big difference. It's just one of the greatest products, and it's just so simple, and it works.
Balance of Nature is a fantastic product. You could tell it's real. You could taste it. And it gives you really good energy, and it's just right up there with rent, electric cable, like things that you have to have. I'm not saying Balance of Nature. No, I love it.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature right now. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com for more information or to place your order. Shipping is always free. And don't forget to get 35% off your first order as a preferred customer by using discount code ARCH.
I'll second guess dinners with friends because they can be interrupted by diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or oily stools. It turns out I have EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, which means I'm missing the enzymes enzymes needed to digest food. My doctor prescribed Creon, pancrelipase, an oral prescription medication that replaces pancreatic digestive enzymes. Creon treats EPI due to cystic fibrosis, chronic pancreatitis, pancreatectomy, or other conditions.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall. If you are allergic to pork or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Creon is the #1 prescribed EPI treatment. Ask your doctor about Creon for EPI and visit creoninfo.com or call 800-633-9110 to learn more. That's CREONinfo.com.
Hey guys, over here for my friends at Zero Res Carpet Cleaning. Happy New Year on behalf of Zero Res, and they are celebrating the new year by giving you a great January deal. Get this, 23% off all of our services. Of course, carpet cleaning, pre-treated and Zero Res cleaned with a 30-day gotta love it guarantee, upholstery, air ducts, anything that you need in your home that's going to make it more beautiful, more healthy, more livable for the winter months coming up. If your New Year's resolution has anything to do with just improving your home and improving your quality of life, which of course most of us do, check out Zero Res. We have a 4.9 rating on Google with over 4,300 reviews. Once again, big news. DGS special for January 2023 is 23% off all services. Call 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com. Happy New Year.
Connect with KMOX on air, online, 11:20 a.m., 98.7 FM, KMOX.com.
It's a Friday on the show. Amy Marks scores Chris Ranji with Hancock and Kelly for the 10 o'clock hour. We've already had a really good time, so let's bring it down a notch.
Okay.
All right.
Let's do something less fun.
Yeah, let's do something a whole lot less fun, but also pretty important. We have been spending most of the week, I would say, Amy, talking about some of the issues we're facing in St. Louis, in particular, parts of the city, St. Louis City. We've had the carjackings. We had the 3 guys who were arrested after stealing a car. The spike strips were laid out. There was an accident. They caught all 3 of them, and they do believe some of the carjackings were related. Now the question is, what do we do about all of this? Because at minimum, the perception is it is a free-for-all in the city of St. Louis.
Yeah.
And the numbers are suggesting that it's up, that some of these crimes are up. There is the push, maybe in Jefferson City, to have a special prosecutor if there are a certain amount of crimes over a certain number, helping out the city. There's a push to maybe make the St. Louis Police Department, or at least let the state handle policing in the city of St. Louis. What do we do here, and what is the appropriate thing to do?
Well, that's a great question. And, it's not really just a St. Louis City specific question, Chris. What we're continuing to see, I live in the city. I will die in the city. I hope not soon. And I hope not by one of these people that gets let out of jail.
I got your back. Don't worry.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But the reality is I moved from downtown to the Central West End because after 14 years of being downtown, it had changed drastically. The police presence had seemed to vanish. There also seemed to be a feeling of lawlessness that had taken over.
You heard gunshots every night.
Yeah, I mean, it was, if it was a Cardinal game, you hoped that we hit a home run, but more likely than not, it was gunshots. So I moved to the West End, and things are a bit better in the West End, but since COVID, it seems to have gotten pretty crazy in the Central West End as well. So it's not a city-specific problem in that this is impacting all of us. Crime is not just staying in the city of St. Louis. It's well reported that it's showing up now in Jefferson County and St. Charles County and various parts of the east side. And this lawlessness is killing us from our ability to grow as a region. And that's what scares me the most, is when you talk to government officials in St. Charles or in Jefferson County or on the east side who are trying to lure businesses here. They literally are losing opportunities because 20 minutes from where they're at is St. Louis, and there's this belief, this narrative of lawlessness. So something has to be done, and they can put up all the stats they want. I live in this nightmare. I'm telling you, crime is up in the city of St. Louis, and it doesn't feel like anyone's in charge.
Yeah, and is the state taking over the police department a panacea? No, but I think we've reached a point now where there is so little regard for the police by the leadership in St. Louis City that the state stepping in, I think, will help. The police want the state to step in. It was the police that wanted the local control originally, and now they would like to have the state come back, and that's a first step.
So I have so many questions from the past few days, primarily when it comes to law enforcement, the courts, city leadership, and either a lack of communication at best, dishonesty at worst. We're getting different stories. You had the youths that were arrested at the Foundry, and they were released to their parents. The court said, no, the police never brought these youths to our courts. They never saw a judge. There was a simple phone call with the intake office. The police said, no, we followed the protocol that we've always followed, longstanding protocol. And then there was some miscommunication. So either both parties misunderstood what was supposed to happen or somebody's lying. Then you have the whole issue with the Missouri State Highway Patrol. You have outgoing Public Safety Director Dan Isom saying, we're pleading, the mayor and I are pleading with the Missouri State Highway Patrol to patrol our city highways. The Missouri State Highway Patrol is saying, well, we've stepped in on several days, but we're short, 117 officers. And then you have the St. Louis police say, we didn't know the Highway Patrol had been contacted. How does no one know what's going on?
That's the problem. It doesn't feel like anyone's in charge, right?
Right.
And it seems like the buck continues to get passed. And, ultimately, I think this is a problem that our friends in Jefferson City and the governor are specifically going to have to step in and show leadership on. We don't seem to be able to find some type of regional leadership. Heck, we don't even seem to have some type of cooperation in the city of St. Louis between police and courts, and surely not the prosecutor. That it's almost like we need an adult to come in and tell us all how we're all going to behave.
Yeah, and if you're not gonna put the bad people, the lawbreakers, in jail, and we're not doing that in any kind of numbers here in St. Louis, then it becomes a snowballing problem, because now the police feel like, I'm going to put my life at risk and nothing's going to happen to this person. And so, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point, and it feeds the lawless reality that we're seeing here.
And it's happening at different hours, right? Like, I guess, it kind of had been accepted that at midnight folks were running around.
Back in the good old days, they'd rob you at 1 a.m.
The Schnucks thing was at the Schnucks on Hampton.
At
Hampton
6
Village
p.m. at night.
Yeah.
I mean, in like 5 or 6 incidents that are happening. That's so brazen. Why would people be acting that way? I think they know that there's no consequences for them if they go out and do this. Now, we can all argue what's going on in society and video games and all this other stuff, but at the end of the day, there's no fear that you're going to be get caught. Yeah. There's no fear that there's any consequences. And daily, we hear it right here on KMOX. This person was arrested. Remember when the lady was flaunting the gun at the federal building and she's out the next day? I mean, there's nobody in charge.
Yeah, but stuff like video games, that's eyewash. That's
I'm making that.
Yeah. I mean, I know, but people want to use that as a reason for gun violence or whatever else. But we've had video games for a long time. That's not the problem. The problem it's more. I think a lot of it is economics. I think a big part of the problem starts with economics, because look, I'm not excusing these actions, but people don't do this stuff if they have money already.
Right.
None of this stuff happens if you grew up with a family that was comfortable. You didn't worry about where your next meal was coming from. You didn't worry about getting to work or having a job or any of that stuff. This is, again, not an excuse for the action. I'm just telling you where it starts. It starts with people who are poor.
Right.
That's why this happens.
And so the well-intentioned people, especially from my side of the aisle, are saying, hey, that's the root cause of this is poverty. And they're right. And we need to address poverty.
But you got to address both.
Right. But at the same time, those folks are suggesting that we can create opportunities, whether it be universal income and all this other stuff, to hand out money to try to fix poverty. And maybe that would be something I could consider if the people who were going to be in charge of those programs were able to do the current job they have.
Right.
Like picking up the trash, like paving the roads.
Fair. Let me just say, though, if you want to escape poverty, there's no better place in the world to be than the United States of America. I mean, you can escape poverty in this country.
Right.
You can, but it is. I would argue that it's relative to what you see, right? Because in a lot of countries, it's all poverty,
right?
Right. I mean, here you see what it looks like when it's good, and then you see that it's not good anywhere close to where you live.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, we can continue this discussion. Amy Marks, Kors, Chris, Ron G, Hancock, and Kelly here with us on a Friday on KMOX.
Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste.
What's on Dave Glover's mind?
This is how I feel about Russia and Ukraine. Am I the only one that didn't know? It's not cool, but it's perfectly doable to attack another country unprovoked, attack the citizenry, and then say openly through diplomatic channels, hey, by the way, if we lose, we're going to nuke everybody. Did anyone else know that you could just do that and get away with it?
The Dave Glover Show, weekdays at 1.
What the hell does the Geneva Convention mean? What the hell does the UN for? I didn't know that was possible.
On KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at ThrottleNet. So I'm so very proud to have represented the guys at ThrottleNet for all of these years. They are the IT geniuses. George and Mike are the owners. Fantastic guys. They can do all of your IT. They can do a portion of your IT. They have the best Apple support team. Their response time is under 2 minutes. Think about that, under 2 minutes. Something goes sideways with your IT, and they are solving your problem. And they're solving your problem within 2 minutes. Now, let's talk about cybersecurity. Most companies in St. Louis don't have cyber liability insurance. You get hit, you're on the hook, you're probably out of business. With ThrottleNet, if we represent you, we protect you. The first $500,000 that someone hits you for, which isn't going to happen, but if it does, we pay it. $500,000. That's what you're covered for with ThrottleNet. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS for all the information. Hey guys, Glover here, and I see clearly thanks to Doctors Birdie and Malhotra, and you can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
Over 30 years ago, it was that can-do spirit which helped the founder of Reinhold Flooring start the business, installing Reinhold quality carpet and beautiful flooring himself. Now, Reinhold Flooring is still family-owned and operated and winning St. Louis Magazine's Best Flooring Store 2 years in a row. With Reinhold Flooring, it's not about the sale, it's about the amazing floor to perfectly match your house and your life. Customer-driven since day one. Visit ReinholdFlooring.com. With so many ideas you can do it with a can-do crew at Reinhold Flooring. ReinholdFlooring.com.
At 10:30, we have mostly sunny skies, 41 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Stuart McMillan. Here's what's happening in Ukraine. Another shelling, another 10 dead there this morning, more than 20 wounded in several locations. A day earlier, 11 were killed in bombardments. It's believed to be further reaction to the plans of both the United States and Germany to ship powerful tanks to help Ukraine. 2 months after undergoing surgery for serious burns, Jay Leno is now dealing with a number of broken bones after being knocked off a motorcycle. The comedian and former Tonight Show host told the Las Vegas newspaper he broke his collarbone, 2 ribs, and cracked his kneecaps last week. Former Supreme Court Chief Justice Earl Warden's name is now going to be on a U.S. Navy ship, a fuel ship. Warren wrote the Brown versus Brown Board of Education decision that outlawed segregation in public schools back in 1954.
Sure, Sir Isaac Newton unraveled the mysteries of gravity, but could he have unraveled the mysteries of Rubik's Cube?
Well, maybe if he played violin. A speed cuber says playing the stringed instrument can help you solve Rubik's Cubes faster. Stanley Chappell, a student at Michigan, is an accomplished violinist. He says the two go hand in hand and believes aided his success as being a speed cuber. 21-year-old is a world champion, 2 categories of blindfolded speed cubing. He defends his titles later this year in South Korea. Debris 64 eastbound just past Winghaven Boulevard. The right lane is closed. All vehicles 64 westbound to Lindbergh Boulevard. Be prepared to stop in that area. Also near Spady Road, some issues there on 64. Right now in St. Peters, we have 44 degrees, 42 in Florissant, and 41 downtown at the Arch. Expected to go up to 51 degrees today. I'm Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
Sponsored by St. Louis Golf Expo, February 3rd through 5th at St. Charles Convention Center.
SSM Health welcomes the St. Louis Golf Expo February 3rd through the 5th at St. Charles Convention Center. Get bonus golf and pro tour tickets while they last. Shop 70 exhibits, get lessons, saving beer and cocktails. VIP tickets at stlgolfexpo.com.
It's the time of year where podcasts, radio stations, and TV channels share stories about the Black community for a whole 28 days. I'm Fami Redwood, host of the podcast Beyond Black History Month. We tell Black stories year-round, from dangerous hair products,
clumps of my edges begin to come out,
to the 50th anniversary of hip-hop.
Hip-hop was about keeping it real.
Listen and subscribe to Beyond Black History Month on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast from.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. Resolve to recycle more. Recycle paper, bottles, and cans directly, and recycle old clothes by donating them. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Broadcasting from the Underlying Three Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Thanks for calling 1-800-GOT-JUNK. This is Sarah. How can I help?
I want to meet your tailor and your hairdresser. The people cruising around in your trucks look like catalog models.
You could be wearing one of those uniforms and riding around in one of those trucks.
You'll be a technician and a magician.
That sounds awesome.
It is awesome. Your job will be to make junk disappear whenever someone points at it.
You'll teach me?
We'll teach you.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
I'm Dakota Hudson. I'm Jordan Hicks. I'm Cardinals pitcher Jack Flaherty. I'm Tommy Edman. I'm Cardinals outfielder Jordan Walker. I'm Paul DeYoung. I'm Woodson Contreras. I'm Adam Wainwright, and you're listening to the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
KMOX is Cardinals Radio.
Amy and Chris on the show with Hancock and Kelly. It's Friday morning. It's a great day. It's beautiful outside.
It is lovely.
And we're having
beautiful.
a wonderful time inside.
So
We
much
are.
fun.
Yeah. Amy and I discussed this earlier in the week about people in Congress,
Mhm.
especially people who have higher positions in Congress and their ability to trade individual stocks. And Josh Hawley has proposed a bill that he has called the Pelosi Act.
Yeah. Which, okay, the bill itself has merit, but when you call it
The
the
trolling
Pelosi
of
Act,
the
come
Pelosi.
on.
Yeah,
Like,
he's a
why would you
child.
do that? Because
Yeah.
all it does is discredit a bill that has some merit.
Now, Amy and I are both on board with this idea, but just don't think people in Congress should be allowed to trade stocks. But they're privy to information a lot of other people are not, like investigations that are upcoming or potential closures that are upcoming, and or knowing that there's going to be a
And-
lockdown and, hey, I'm going to invest in Zoom.
If you look at Congress, the members of Congress and their trading, year after year, they somehow beat the market.
Yes.
Members of
there
Congress
are times they do
always
take
beat
losses.
the market, but
where-
overall,
Yeah,
overall, Congress beats
overall
the
they do better.
market.
Where do you guys stand on that?
Yeah, are we
So,
missing something?
I don't know where you draw the line on something like that, because you've got the member, you've got the staff, you've got committee staff, you've got the bureaucracy, and you know all the agencies and the people that work there. I mean, at some point, people have to be free to live, you know, and to the extent that members of Congress have access to information that most people don't, well, that's true for a lot of people.
That's insider trading.
I mean,
wouldn't it be?
that have, well, it's insider trading if you're doing it on, you know, in your own.
Right. Well,
pool
but
there.
isn't that the accusation that Holly's making?
Yeah, a lot of members put their money in blind trusts.
Right.
And could be a way to do that. But members have gotten burned. Members of Congress have gotten burned with blind trusts where they've been literally robbed blind and not known it. So that's not a foolproof solution either. And I just don't know if you can limit the members of Congress, but that's not addressing the overall problem.
But nothing's preventing you from owning, mutual funds or,
Right.
or something like that. You can still invest, just not individual
Because,
stocks.
right, we know one of the examples was Paul Pelosi traded between 1 and 5 million of stocks for semiconductors days before Congress allocated $52
But
million.
that's what he does for a living.
But then Senator Richard Burr sold investments after reading classified. Senator Burr of North Carolina, after receiving classified briefings on the coronavirus pandemic. We
Kelly
know-
Loeffler, too.
Kelly Loeffler, we know the Pelosi's sold stock in Alphabet just weeks before the DOJ announced they were going to sue Google.
I don't know. I don't know enough. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with banning them or forcing them into blind trusts, but I don't know enough. So I would want to know a little bit more, like what John says, because, Cori Bush may want to trade her own stocks, and should she be prohibited when she doesn't have any knowledge of anything that's going on? Obviously, if you're on the banking committee or something like that, you might know some stuff. So I don't have a problem with it, but I'd want to know more. Kind of a duck.
Do you have a problem? So if you don't necessarily have a problem with them banning it, do you also not have a problem with them not banning?
Well, I mean, Paul
stocks?
Pelosi, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's in the financial business. I mean, that's what he does for a living, is trade, money, et cetera. So,
yeah, I guess my thing is transparency. So if you, and these folks do have to disclose.
Yeah.
And so if you can make it, we're making the case for this because we know the facts that they have made those trades, and I think if the public is made aware that they've made these trades, then we can decide whether we think that's funny business or not.
So I don't know all the details of this, but did Martha Stewart go to jail for less than what some of the members of Congress know?
I don't know.
Yeah, but I think she got a tip on something that was going to happen from like the CEO, and therefore she went and did something way out of her normal purview, which is insider trading, which I think gets investigated whether or not you're a member of Congress or whatever you are. There's lots of SEC guidelines that have to be.
The food was a lot better when she was in jail.
Oh my gosh.
Do we even know if she had access to the kitchen?
Oh, had to have. Martha Stewart.
If you have a
I mean,
jail,
if you got a
Stewart
jail and Martha Stewart's in your jail, you're going to let that woman in the kitchen.
Do we even know what kind of prison she went? Because I have not listened to or read any interviews about her prison time. Was it a fun prison?
I don't think there's any such thing as a fun prison.
Was it the kind where the door doesn't really lock? You could just open it and walk out when you want.
The one that Steve Stenger's in South Dakota.
Yeah,
Well,
they
he's
were
no longer there.
They
but,
were able to go
Was
get
in.
Starbucks.
Yes, they
Yeah.
could go to Subway.
Uh-huh.
Like, I was stunned when we talked to Jeff Smith
Yeah.
about his prison
His
time.
was intense.
Like, he went to a real prison
with
where
real criminals.
you might have to fight somebody.
Yeah.
And my perception of prison is if you commit a white collar crime, well, that's not what happens to you. You go to the place where it's like a country club. But apparently that's not true.
Right. Jeff Smith went to jail for one of the most ridiculous, obnoxious things
He is
ever.
such a good guy.
He is a good dude. But boy, how times have changed. I mean, I think they'd have a hard time doing that. Hey, but you lie to the FBI, you're going to jail. And they kind of hit it.
Yeah.
You guys spent a little bit of time earlier today. I caught some of it talking about what's going to happen in Memphis. There was the guy, Tyree Nichols, who was pulled over by police. 5 police officers beat him. He died. They have been charged with murder. They were all fired within 5 days of all of this coming out. And they are going to release the videos tonight. The police chief said there that they wanted to wait until all the kids are home from school, people are home from work. They didn't want to do it today during the day. I don't know what to expect tonight. I don't know how bad it's going to get, but what sort of fears do you have of the outcome and the reaction people across the country are going to have?
Well, the whole thing is unbelievable, right? I mean, it's just sickening. And then to hear the descriptions of, them saying this is like a Rodney King beating video. I mean, I think it's going to be
as bad, if not worse.
Right.
The police chief.
So that's startling. And any of us who've lived through here in St. Louis and have gone through the riots and the unrest that happened after several different verdicts, it's not a good thing to have to go through. And I worry that Memphis is headed for a bad night. I'm not sure it will be specific to Memphis. I think you could see actions around the country.
Yeah, and what's going to be fascinating to me is that in these cases where they've resulted in violence before, there was overriding all of that was the fact that the perceived offender, the police, nothing had been done to them.
Right.
And that was the case with in Minneapolis with Rodney Floyd. And that was the case here with Michael Brown. And now the police officer was rightfully exonerated for his action here. But the point is, in where violence has erupted, it's erupted when the folks were feeling like they weren't being heard. Well, here the officers have been fired. They've been charged. They've been charged with crimes that, if convicted, they're going to spend the rest of their lives in jail. All 5 of these officers. So I can't see that there's anything that the protesting community, could be found wanting at this point.
I could see the protesters. It's not about punishment after the fact as much as it shouldn't happen in the first place.
Yeah, I get that.
Like, this guy shouldn't be dead.
Right.
Well, Tyree Nichols' mom has said repeatedly, and you can just hear the pain in her voice, telling people, do not burn the city down, do not become violent, do not break windows, smash things, loot. And can you imagine being in that position where you've lost your son in such a horrific way? He was murdered in such a horrific way. And then you're also telling people, don't burn our city down. This is where we live. This doesn't do anything to help us. Just the amount of weight that woman is carrying right now.
And I think that the police there believe that by releasing the footage and by taking the steps they've taken to this point, I think they believe there will be no violence. I mean, otherwise you wouldn't roll this out like this.
But it's a Friday night at nighttime.
I hear you, buddy.
I mean, come on. You can look at countless cities, including ours, a couple of times of what happens at nighttime. Why are they not releasing it earlier in the day? I don't know that it's going to make it any better, but I just worry that they're going to cause it to be worse. Remember the night that Bob McCullough made his announcement that there would be no charges.
Right.
The mother of Michael Brown was pleading with people, please behave, don't burn the city down, and within seconds Ferguson was going up in flames.
What typically happens in these, you'll get the protests during the day. You'll have maybe hundreds, if not thousands, of people marching, and it's all fine. Then it gets dark, and then you got the 17-year-old buttholes who come out.
That's right.
And they're like, this is our excuse to get together and start
Sometimes
trashing.
from out of state.
Yeah,
Like
and
criminals from out of state.
a lot of
It does
agitators.
happen.
I guarantee you there are a lot of agitators in Memphis right now.
Yeah.
Guarantee you.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that does not happen. Hopefully it goes well. Not looking forward to watching the video.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's not great.
Shifting to our national politics, and there are rumors, going around who's going to run, who will be the running mate on the Republican side, the Democratic side. Michael, what's your position on Joe Biden, him running again? Obviously, a lot of Democrats have and Democratic voters are not necessarily keen on that idea. They want Biden over Ron DeSantis, but some of the Gallup polls that have come out would show that Democratic voters would want someone else. What do you think the vibe is? Do you have to take polls with a grain of salt?
Yeah, so I've been saying for 6-7 months now that I don't believe the president will run for re-election. If he does, that would be great, and I'll be there with him. I did his campaign here in Missouri when he ran the last time. I think that it's not likely that the president's going to run for re-election. I don't think it has anything to do with classified documents or anything else. I think he's getting older.
Yeah.
And he's had a successful presidency, and I think he'll step aside. That's my own feeling. In terms of what emerges on the Democratic side, I don't know. It's going to take somebody who has name ID and money. So you immediately start to think of J.B. Pritzker, who's got money, Gavin Newsom, who's got the biggest platform of any governor in the country. But I think there'll be fresh meat coming to the Democratic side.
And if Biden's not going to run, he's almost got a duty to declare that sooner rather than later, because you're going to put your team at a disadvantage if you string this thing along.
But hasn't he implied
that he's running?
That he's running,
Yeah.
and hasn't Karine Jean-Pierre had to address that?
Yeah.
That he is running again. And I don't know. I think I have huge issues with Biden and with his policies and the way he handled Afghanistan and all of that. But I do think one way he can set himself apart, especially from the previous administration, is saying, for the good of the party, I've done what I said I would do. I've been a bridge and I'm stepping aside.
I think the president would get reelected if he ran tomorrow. I think the Republican Party is in such a quagmire with this whole Donald Trump stuff and this really move to the MAGA extreme that I think the Democratic nominee will win in the next election. And this president has probably the most solid record of any Democratic president ever to be able to run for re-election.
His numbers are in the toilet. And
they were in the toilet when he got nominated, and he never got above 50% when he wound up beating Donald Trump.
If Republicans nominate a serious, good candidate, we will win the White House.
Like if
You don't have a good track record there.
what's Ron DeSantis versus Biden?
DeSantis wins.
I say
I don't know about
DeSantis,
that.
and I don't say that like in a way that who I want to win.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if I put my money Biden versus Trump, it's Biden.
Yep.
Biden versus DeSantis, I think it's DeSantis.
Well,
I don't disagree with
I
that
think
at all.
anybody who's running against Donald Trump will win. I don't think. I mean, you could run. Pick George
Potato?
Santos or whatever that clown's name is.
I mean,
Potentially could run.
Right.
I think Donald
Kamala
Trump
Harris
has
could-
damaged goods to more than half the country.
I am not convinced DeSantis is as nationally popular as he is in Florida.
And I don't like the way that he's.
I don't know.
No,
about
he's
that.
not. You're right. He's not
And I don't know.
known.
I don't know
He's
if
not
he gains that popularity because there's an abrasiveness to him.
So to that point, I've heard that concern that DeSantis looks great in Florida and he can give you the sound bites, but they said when he's shaking hands in Iowa or whatever, he can be off-putting.
And we'll see. Maybe not. Maybe
I
that
don't know,
changes
yeah.
from now until 24. All right. Go play snooker. You guys want to hang out with us?
Always a pleasure. Well, you got your big segment coming up
what
here.
is the next
It's,
segment?
what
Did you see this?
Yeah.
What
that's
did you
it.
say it was?
It was, what are we talking about?
You're so helpful.
Thank you.
I have to
That's
do
what I
3
do.
more hours of this until I'm done with him.
Hey, you'll enjoy it. You guys are the best friends.
Have a great
Sorry.
weekend, everybody.
John Hancock, Michael Kelly, they're leaving. Amy and Chris, we're going to stick around on the show.
Well, the Salvation Army continues to love beyond Christmas as their Tree of Lights campaign continues. Yes, beyond the holiday season, because need doesn't stop over the holidays. Your neighbor who is struggling to put food on the table, the neighbor who's struggling to pay their mortgage or their rent, maybe a veteran who is homeless. I think it's like 11% of our homeless population are veterans. They've served our country. They're dealing with whatever it may be, whether it's a financial issue, addiction, PTSD. The Salvation Army stands in the gap to help our neighbors in need. And they do love beyond Christmas. And that's why I have my virtual Red Kettle still up. It's still online. You can still donate to the Salvation Army at salarmy.us/Amy Mark Scores, salarmy.us/Amy Mark Scores. The needs in our area continue, and that's why my virtual Red Kettle is still up. Give today your donation, no matter how big, no matter how small, it makes a difference, and all that money stays right here in St. Louis. salarmy.us/Amy Mark Scores.
Tom Ackerman for Building Community with Busey Bank, a podcast series easily accessible at KMOX.com/community banking. Reed McCrory, Vice President and Private Wealth Advisor, and Jeff Burgess, President, both with Busey Wealth Management, join me in studio to help all of our followers get fiscally fit. They have advice on assessing your finances and creating a plan for your future. Listen to our January podcast, Building Community with Busey Bank, at KMOX.com/community banking.
Interested in building a new home but don't know how to get started? Start your home building journey with Lombardo Homes. At Lombardo Homes, your new home isn't about sticks and bricks. It's all about you. Visit us online and use our design tool to view communities, floor plans, available home sites, and desirable options that fit your lifestyle. Let our expert sales team take you through our trademark discovery event to ensure your home will suit you today and for years to come. Our customer-centric philosophy ensures you build the custom home of your dreams and have fun doing it. Visit LombardoHomes.com for more information.
Football's biggest game of the year is coming up February 12th. But if you're looking to travel in 2023, the biggest day of the year for you is February 4th. It's AAA Travel Marketplace. It's the super big, can't miss travel event of the year. AAA Travel Marketplace features tons of cruise and tour partners all under one roof with limited time special offers for huge savings on your next dream vacation. AAA Travel Marketplace, Saturday, February 4th, 9 a.m. till noon at the Holiday Inn at Watson and Lindbergh in Sunset Hills. Get all the info at AAA.com/travel show.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
You don't need special gadgets to be a hero. With unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere, the Capital One Quicksilver card makes you the hero of every purchase. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
For all your communication needs, check out the Center for Hearing and Speech. Call today, 314-968-4710 or chsstl.org.
Back to the show.
Yeah, the show
on KMOX.
Did you see that thing? I can't believe it. Something is obviously wrong.
This is a joke, right?
Oh my God. Are you freaking kidding me? No way.
You gotta be kidding me. Don't feel bad. There's no way you could have known that.
Now, did you see this with Chris and Amy on the show?
Amy, I'm getting the feeling that Jay Leno should probably stay away from things with motors.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
What happened?
So you recall a few months ago, it was before Thanksgiving, he was supposed to tour with Jeff Foxworthy, or he was. We were going to go. Remember, we were going to go to the show here in St. Louis. It got canceled because he had suffered severe burns while working on one of his cars.
Yep.
Well, he has suffered multiple broken bones in a motorcycle accident.
Oh, no.
Yeah. That happened on January 17th. A broken collarbone, 2 broken ribs, 2 cracked kneecaps. He says he's still working, however. But what kind of luck do you have to have? Or maybe it's not luck. Maybe he just, maybe it's user error. But whatever's going on, Jay Leno is having really bad luck with something that he loves, by the way. That dude loves cars. Loves cars the way you love running.
I just can't. Yes. I mean, he was really, really badly burned with the fire that happened with one of his cars back in November. And now to be back in the hospital. And can I just say, 2 broken kneecaps? Like, when you hit your knee, how badly that hurts. Like, that's one of those injuries where you break your leg. That sounds painful. That's bad. But broken kneecaps? Oh, yeah.
I don't know about that.
More careful. Yeah. There was I don't know if you saw this, but there's a video of a hearing from one of Biden's judicial nominees. And it's a judge. And he's being asked questions. And I have to say, I've not sat there and watched an entire hearing for a judicial nominee other than the Supreme Court with, Justice Kavanaugh or Amy Coney Barrett. But this judicial nominee was asked, what does Article 5 of the Constitution represent or say? Why is it important? And the judicial nominee said, it's not coming to mind at the moment. Which I would say in general, yeah, maybe he doesn't have the Constitution memorized. However, Article 5 of the Constitution determines how the Constitution is amended. It's how do you amend the Constitution? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a big one. And he said, what about Article 2? Are you familiar with Article 2?
What kind of judge is he supposed to be?
This was and I have to admit, had a freezing moment on my computer.
Oh.
So he's a judicial nominee for an appellate court.
Okay.
And he could not recall what Article 5 of the Constitution is about. So then he was asked, what about Article 2 of the Constitution? Do you have any idea what that's about?
Maybe he was nervous.
And he said no.
Some people are bad at tests.
Article 2 establishes the executive branch of the United States of
Maybe
America.
he was nervous.
He might have been nervous.
Maybe, sometimes.
But this is like what I learned like in 6th grade or 4th grade.
Yeah, but Amy, sometimes you've seen people who take the polygraph test, right? And their heart rate goes up because they get anxiety. And then you think, oh, you must be lying. Well, it's just because you're anxious. Maybe he has severe anxiety.
Should he be a judge then?
Well, why? You don't have to answer trivia questions in court.
Hey.
You get time to make your decision. You don't make your decision right there. You go back and you look it up.
Confidence.
He'll be fine.
I wanted to wave
He's
and go.
Fine.
The executive branch.
Leave him alone.
Article 2, executive branch.
Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji on the show.
I hate winter
But as a kid, I used to love it snowing. And my dog, when it snows, he's just like me being a little Hoosier. When it snows, we wake up and we would just run outside. We didn't care what we had on and just run around and build snowmen, roll around in the snow. He does the exact same thing. He can't build snowmen. He wants to do snow angels. But if you can picture this, he's a big German Shepherd, all right? He's good size. But he's got little legs and little arms. He doesn't know he's a dog, but he wants to make snow angels, so he tries his best. And he just ends up just rolling around in circles for the longest time. You got to love it. But that being said, keep the calls coming. One easy number, Missouri and Illinois. It is 314-293-2600. That's Bart Inman, 314-293-2600. And BartInman.com. That is a B for Bart. Otherwise, Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com.
After years of hearing the commercials on KMOX, I decided to finally make an appointment with Ophthalmology Associates. You know the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates, Dr. Greg Birdie, Dr. Ranjan Malhotra, Dr. Robert Busati, and Dr. Andy Royer. Well, I'd been hearing about dry eye, and I knew that I had dry eyes. Dr. Ranjan Malhotra told me that it's not just an irritating problem, it's actually irritating my eyes, and that it's so important to have dry eye addressed because it can actually scratch your cornea, cause greater damage, lead you to believe that your vision is getting worse. Turns out I don't need new glasses. I just need to address the dry eye situation. You should definitely check out Ophthalmology Associates. They are experts in the diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye. Call for an appointment today, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com, 12990 Manchester Road, just a half mile west of 270 eastbound on Manchester. Ophthalmology Associates. youridoc.com.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The voice of the Billikens, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband, and he lost weight, and his cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend lost 20 pounds her first 2 months.
What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99. Hypnosis is designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late-day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. That's right, seminars, Wednesday, February 1st at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, St. Louis Airport in St. Louis, and Thursday, February 2nd at the 4 Points by Sheraton St. Louis, Fairview Heights in Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar, 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar, 8 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminar.com.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news, KMOX.
At 11 o'clock, we've got a sunny sky, 45 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour. A candlelight vigil was held in Memphis, Tennessee Thursday night for Tyree Nichols, who allegedly was beaten to death by several police officers who are now fired and facing second-degree murder and kidnapping charges.
Tyree Nichols' mother, Rovon Wells, delivered a message at the vigil ahead of what's expected to be the release of video footage of Nichols' beating by 5 Memphis police officers.
I don't want us burning up our cities, tearing up the streets.
Yes, ma'am.
Because that's not what my son stood for.
Yeah.
And if you guys are here for me and Tyree, then you will protest peacefully.
Nichols died 3 days after the January 7th traffic stop, in which police say he was pulled over for reckless driving and then fled the scene. I'm Donna Warder.
Transit crime, not just an issue in St. Louis. New York Governor Kathy Hochul and New York City Mayor Eric Adams say a combined effort to increase New York City subway safety has yielded results.
I want people to have that sense that if you need help, it's there. But also, if you're someone looking to do harm to somebody, that's a powerful deterrent when you know there's a police officer right either in the train, the platform, and the mezzanine.
The plan included increased law enforcement presence in and around subways, as well as a substantial investment in helping both people dealing with homelessness as well as mental illness. A vehicle fire closed eastbound 64, causing large backups during this morning's commute. All cars were being diverted off the interstate at McKnight. Those beyond the exit were turning around in the middle of the road to get off. A big shakeup for President Biden's staff.
The president confirmed today that his chief of staff, Ron Klain, is stepping down. Taking his place will be Jeff Zients, the former White House COVID response coordinator. Mr. Biden said in a statement he's confident that Jeff will continue Ron's example of smart, steady leadership. This is the first major personnel change for the administration. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
CBS News correspondent Jim Krasula has the story of lawmakers in one state addressing a problem that seemingly doesn't exist.
State senators in Indiana are considering a bill that would reiterate that schools are allowed to enforce dress codes and curb disruptive behavior to address concerns about students identifying as furries. It follows a nationwide wave of claims, none proven, that students are dressing and acting like animals in classrooms.
No Indiana school system has reported furries in their classrooms. The KMOX business desk, U.S. consumer spending fell in December, putting the economy on a lower growth path heading into 2023. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger breaks down key parts of the Federal Reserve's report.
The most important aspect of this report is a measure of inflation. That is called the PCE index. And there has been some improvement. Year over year, prices rose by 5% last month. That's down from the 5.5% increase in November, and the third straight month where we're seeing a deceleration in prices.
The Dow from Stifel's up 53 points to 34,002. And there's been a crash on 6440 East at Chestnut. The two left lanes have been closed. And looking at the camera at 20th Street, looks like there's a tow truck on the elevated lanes of 6440. And there looks like it's an SUV that's propped up on the back of that tow truck, 64 East at Chestnut. Some debris on 6440 East at Winghaven. That's got the right lane closed. A stalled vehicle, 44 West at Lewis. Watch out there. And 64 West at Lindbergh.
KMOX AccuWeather, a rain or snow shower early, then clouds breaking for some sun, breezy, milder up within a few degrees of 50 this afternoon, then down to 33 tonight. Mild again tomorrow. Rain showers, then goes over to some freezing rain as it gets colder tomorrow night, low around 30, and will stay around 31 after some iciness Sunday morning. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Steve DeVore on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
We've got sun, 44 in Florissant, 46 in St. Peters, and 45 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Amy Markscore's Chris Ranji on the show on KMOX. It is hour number 2 of the program, and we're glad to have you with us today. Until 1 o'clock we'll go, and then sit in with the Dave Glover Show starting at 1 o'clock. Today is International Holocaust Remembrance Day, happening obviously around the world. And we visit now with Helen Turner, who is the Director of Education at the Kaplan Feldman Holocaust Museum right here in St. Louis. Helen, thank you for being with us today. We really appreciate it.
Hello, good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
So what is happening at the museum today?
Fantastic question. Today, really, because it's International Holocaust Remembrance Day, is our kickoff for a really incredible weekend of commemoration and memorial events. So today is our first day of pay-as-you-wish entry to the museum. That will continue all weekend, where we're inviting visitors to come to us with no ticket price, but that they can pay what they wish to enter the exhibition, because we want to make Holocaust education accessible for all. But today, because it's International Holocaust Remembrance Day, we are doing the very sacred act of reading the names of Holocaust victims. We'll be reading names continuously from 9:45 until about 4:15 today, and it will be live streamed on our Facebook and YouTube.
And if people are a bit confused, today, International Holocaust Remembrance Day, it's different than a Holocaust Remembrance Day, which is held in April, correct?
This is true. So this is the date. This is the anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz, which was one of the largest killing centers created by the Nazis. And it was declared International Holocaust Remembrance Day by the United Nations. So it's observed all around the world on this day.
And today is so important. It's a somber day, but with every year, I imagine it takes on even greater significance as we are further away from the generation that survived the Holocaust. We have, there are very the survivors who have survived the Holocaust have since passed away. Those who were in the war, those who witnessed it, are fading into the distance, and we want their memories to stay with us and stay very much alive.
Oh, certainly. And, you know, it is such a powerful day. Number one, to be with our survivors, to remember their families, and the many, many other victims of the Holocaust. So I couldn't agree with you more. I think as we get further away in the timeline from the Holocaust, commemorative events like this just become more and more essential and powerful.
What more can be planned as you move forward? And as Amy asked, because we're talking about, I mean, just a lot of people from World War II in general are no longer here with us. So what more can you do as the years go by and these people aren't with us any longer?
No, that's an excellent question, one that I'm asked a lot. And I think it's all about really keeping the memory of our victims, honoring our survivors. And as time goes further forward, I think it's really important to continue to engage in Holocaust education and to remember that everything that happened during the Holocaust has relevance to our lives today. The history of the Holocaust, has direct implications on the choices that we make, and how we see ourselves in the world. So for me, it's all about continuing to engage with survivor testimony. We have an incredible oral history collection on our website, to continue to visit the museum, which has captured the voices of local survivors through their quotes, through their oral histories, through videos of them, and to continue to engage with us as an institution. For me, the Holocaust, while it is in the past, it could not be more relevant to today.
If families are listening now, parents, and they want to teach their kids about the Holocaust, and the horrors of the Holocaust are beyond comprehension, and there are many different ages, high schoolers or maybe 5-year-olds, and they should all know the truth of the history. Do you have any suggestions for today? So maybe parents of young children, either a book or something that they can do at the Holocaust Museum that would be appropriate for a young child, and then maybe a suggestion for children who are older and maybe more age appropriate once they're in high school and older.
Certainly. So I would say for our youngest visitors, we really do advise discussing the Holocaust really with 10 and up, and that's just so they can sort of understand the context. But there are some really beautiful books and videos out there for our parents who are looking for a gateway, the beginning of a conversation. I would highly recommend the very short film. It's 18 minutes. It's The Number on Great Grandpa's Arm. It's a really beautiful introduction of an 11-year-old asking his grandfather or his great grandfather about the Holocaust, and it's done with such love and integrity. I think it gives a beautiful introduction that's very age appropriate for our younger audience. But for anybody who is 10 and up, I would strongly encourage our parents, guardians, grandparents, and other folks to come to the museum. We've really been very thoughtful in making sure our museum is appropriate for younger ages, with allowing different gateways for our older groups as well, which have more intense or graphic content. But I would certainly say the museum is a wonderful introduction. We have extraordinary gallery attendants, entry and exit staff who are all here to make sure that you have a powerful and yet also pedagogically sound experience with us.
Helen, I believe we spoke months ago when the museum reopened, after the renovation and after the new center. And we were talking about the environment in the country now, because there's been a lot of anti-Semitism. At least if it's been there under the surface, it's now boiling up to the surface, right? Where people it's out there and they're not shy about showing it, those who are anti-Semitic. How much of a challenge has that been these last several months, in the last couple of years, knowing the environment is worse than it should be?
That's a very interesting question. Number one, we cannot deny the rise in anti-Semitism. It is becoming far more blatant, and certainly from my experience, more aggressive. But I think it kind of goes twofold. One, the challenge I think we have is how do we address it? I think, we're part of a community, and we're, and as a country, as human beings, how do we talk about this topic? How do we pull apart tropes? How do we recognize anti-Semitism? So I think it's brought up some difficult conversations. But also, I would say the rise of anti-Semitism for me has really indicated that the work that we do, Holocaust education, is more relevant than ever. And actually, the museum, our capstone program for this weekend of commemoration will be a lecture by Dr. Peter Hayes, who wrote the incredible book, Why? And he's going to be speaking on anti-Semitism, its ups and downs, and how it really morphs. And he'll be, really tying together historical anti-Semitism and the anti-Semitism of today. So if anyone is curious in that conversation, we'll be hosting Dr. Peter Hayes, author of the book, Why? At 5 o'clock on Sunday, the 29th, here at the museum. So please do come. We're almost sold out, so please make sure you get your ticket.
Okay, and the website for the Kaplan Museum is stlholocaustmuseum.org, correct?
Yes, please. Yep, that's where you can find us. Okay. And if anyone would like to watch the name reading today, which I would highly encourage, and that might be a beautiful gateway for parents as well to watch some of the names being read. Those are being live streamed on our Facebook and our YouTube from the hours of 9:45 to 4:15 today.
And the links are all there on stlholocaustmuseum.org.
Yes, they most certainly are.
And everybody has a different upbringing and different interactions within their social circles. For me, many friends who are Jewish with going to Israel, going to Yad Vashem in Jerusalem, the Holocaust Museum there, or in DC, that was something that I was made aware of, obviously at a very young age, and we studied it. But then I also know there are many kids who are maybe even shockingly unfamiliar with the Holocaust. In your experience, do you find that there are many young people who are either surprised by the extent of the Holocaust, what it is, or perhaps have no idea when they visit the museum or otherwise introduced to it?
Certainly, some of our younger visitors and some of even our older visitors, they might know a little bit about the Holocaust, but they're certainly, I think, really shocked at the magnitude and the scale and the speed of the Holocaust, which I think that our new exhibition has done a really powerful job in illustrating through some of our interactive materials that we have. But some visitors do come in, especially young school groups, and the students really are shocked and surprised. And that's why we try and do a very good job of bringing them safely into this history to prepare them, and also walking them safely out to leave them with a message of empowerment of what they can do. Because for some, it is almost this earth-shattering moment of how could human beings do this to each other? And we want to make sure that we catch them in that moment and say that even though this history is horrific, and believe me, every time I think I've reached the bottom of this history, there's still so much more to go.
And what's even... sorry, Helen, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. We just want to make sure that we'll catch you and let people leave with a message of empowerment and action. But we do get a lot of people who are quite surprised at the Holocaust.
Yeah, what's even more incredible is knowing that the amount of people who participated in it started off as ordinary people. Yeah. So you wonder how a normal person who has no hatred for somebody else suddenly becomes a person who has intense hatred for another race, and how that can happen. And it seems to have happened a lot easier than you realize.
Certainly. I mean, I think a lot of it, number one, I would, I think we've got a level set with the fact that all of us are inherently, we experience bias and stereotypes because these are the worlds that we are brought up in. So we're constantly getting messages of who is our in-group and who is othered. So I think something is always there, and it's how we interact with it. But I think, to really see an escalation with genocide, with atrocities around the world, it's really looking at the messages that people are given that say that one group of human beings is so different from another group of human beings. And the core is to remember that we are all human. We look different, we speak different languages, we're from a plethora of different countries and cultures, but we are all intrinsically the same. And I think, people can be swayed. You can hear so much rhetoric about why someone is so different from you or can be scary to you. And it's about coming coming to the reality that we're all just human beings and getting to know one another and finding that beautiful unity in all of us.
And just kind of to follow up on that, I imagine that is the question that students have is how? Because some of it is not even the active hating, but so much of what allowed the Holocaust too was complicity, just people not saying anything. And you think, how does a country, right, a modern country with people that are, smart, educated, how do they let this happen?
And that, I think that is such a fascinating question. And as a Holocaust educator, it's one that I'm hit with all the time. And I think the museum has done a really good job of trying to address it and really making sure we understand, like, the Holocaust didn't come out of nowhere. It had such a long, the Holocaust began so much sooner than Adolf Hitler coming to power. It's got this really deep framework, a context of anti-Semitism, a context of stereotyping, of eugenics, of so many layers that went into breaching towards or evolving towards the Holocaust. I think it's really important to pull apart those roles that people played, to question why would people be silent, and not to look at it so much with shame and blame, but to look at it with true questioning of what makes people act, what makes people be silent, what makes people frightened, what makes people freeze. And the museum, what we've decided to do is we have the chronological history of the Holocaust, but then we've added an entire section on the importance of choice, which goes into the roles of our collaborators, our perpetrators, bystanders, and our upstanders, our rescuers and resistors. And so I think it really is important to pull apart those roles and to examine those choices of human beings. And I think the answer is, it's a complicated history. It comes out of so much context, and it's all about human beings and the choices that we make. It's a very difficult history to grasp, which is why I think the museum is a really beautiful resource to really help people try and grapple with that question.
Director of Education at the Kaplan Feldman Holocaust Museum, Helen Turner, we appreciate your time today. Thank you for giving us so much of it.
No, I appreciate you both so much, and I'm incredibly grateful to be speaking here today. Thank you.
We'll talk again soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
That is Helen Turner. And again, the website. So for all the links, the live stream that she was talking about, all the links are there on their website, stlholocaustmuseum.org, on what is today is the International Holocaust Remembrance Day. So,
yep. And it wasn't that long ago, I was running with a friend and we were talking about family histories, and he went back to his grandparents and said, that's as far as I can go, because we lost everybody else in the Holocaust.
Yeah.
He's
just
like 28 years old. It's not that long ago. Yeah.
That's Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji. You are listening to KMOX.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to KMOX for all the news, sports, talk, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
If you are a business owner and you have 5 or more employees, and you managed to make it through the past couple of years with shutdowns and restrictions, supply chain issues, worker shortages, inflation, my goodness, I could go on and on. Well, you're probably thinking I could use a little bit of a break. Also, it's tax season. Yep, everybody's filling out the paperwork. Well, the team at getrefunds.com, they can help you out because, like I said, if you made it through those past few years and you have 5 or more employees, your business could be eligible to receive a payroll tax rebate of up to $26,000 per employee. Now, businesses of all types can qualify, even if your business already took PPP, even if you actually saw an increase in sales, or even if you are a nonprofit, you could still be eligible. To find out if your company qualifies, just go to getrefunds.com, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. The team of tax attorneys that they've put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program and have already returned $1 billion to businesses, and they can help you too. Getrefunds.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients. Today, Morgan & Morgan has more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
One of the best ways to find out about 3-Day Kitchen and Bath is actually to hear the results for yourself. On the phone with us is Wendy in Darwin. Wendy, you got a brand new bathroom.
I do, and it's beautiful.
Are you loving it?
I am absolutely loving it.
Okay, tell me about your bathroom.
It went from a dark room that felt like an absolute cave when I walked into it to a bright, airy, opened the space up. I mean, I don't know what else. It's just absolutely wonderful.
She's almost speechless. So, Darwin, tell me about all the man stuff. How did it work? The quality, the convenience. How did they do?
Excellent. We contacted 3-Day Bath, and they got back to us the next day. The communication was excellent. They were on time in all their promises, and it's beautiful. It's a great bathroom.
Would you do it again?
Oh, absolutely.
For more about your new kitchen or bath, visit 3daykitchen.com.
3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Download Upside and start getting cash back wherever you roll. It's like having your own hype man. Get an average of 17% cash back at restaurants.
Oh, it's dinner time.
Average of 13% on groceries.
Get those groceries.
10 cents per gallon average cash back on gas.
It's go time.
Plus, cash back at participating convenience stores too.
Stacks on stacks.
Users can earn hundreds of dollars a year, 3 times more than other apps.
Upside, show me that money.
All right, we get it. It's easy. Just sign up for the free Upside app and start getting cash back for doing you. Download the free Upside app and use promo code DOYOU for an extra $10 cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. That's promo code DOYOU for an extra $10 on the free Upside app. Get cash back for doing you with the free app from Upside.
When you hear Diamonds Direct, it's not just a catchy name designed to give the illusion of value. Our name is who we really are. Diamonds Direct was started by diamond cutters a quarter of a century ago. At our very core is a commitment to cut out the middleman and deliver extreme value in exquisite diamonds. Today, that's more true than ever, with our direct access to diamonds straight from the mines. Diamonds that we then cut and polish. Exquisite diamonds up to 15 and 20 carats in all shapes and sizes. It's an advantage other jewelers only dream of. By overseeing the entire process, we know for a fact Diamonds Direct is truly direct. So this year, as value becomes more important than ever, rest assured that Diamonds Direct's unique status in the world diamond market guarantees you the best no middleman direct importer price, period. And even with this extreme value promise, at Diamonds Direct, you still get an unbeatable selection, transparent education, a luxurious shopping experience, superior customer service, no compromises. It's not having a cool name or clever advertising, it's the truth. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Trusted information, live and local. From the award-winning KMOX newsroom.
Amy and Chris on the show today. It's KMOX. Good to have you with us. We haven't given out the number to call and text us today. 314-436-7900. Voicemails welcome as well at 314-944-1120. We're on the socials and all of the handles, Instagram, Twitter, at the show KMOX. So we have been following along the story of Tyre Nichols, who was killed by 5 police officers in Memphis, and this happening several weeks ago. Those 5 officers had been fired within about 5 days of the incident happening. They have all been charged with murder. The body cam footage, everything that the police have, the Memphis Police Department, who I think the way they've handled this, at least on appearance, is they have been very transparent about all of this stuff, and they've acted pretty swiftly.
They,
usually,
meaning the police department.
The police department.
Yes.
Usually what happens in a case like this is it's very deliberate, and there's a slow trickle of information or repercussions for officers who are involved in something like this. They have acted very, very quickly. And you had the chief of police saying that the videos that we're going to see, and they're going to be released later this evening, that it is as bad, and the exact words were as bad, if not worse, than the Rodney King videos from earlier, from the early 90s.
Yeah, and just from a timeline perspective, what was initially said was that Tyre Nichols, he fled on foot during a reckless driving stop, and that a confrontation occurred in an effort to detain him. Now, since then, Memphis Police Chief CJ Davis, he told CNN that an investigation and a review of the camera footage that was available could not substantiate the reckless driving claim. What we do know is that there were 5 police officers who beat Tyre Nichols so badly that he was hospitalized in critical condition, and he died 3 days later.
Right.
That's what we know. The 5 police officers have been fired. Now, as John Hancock pointed out earlier, if they are charged and convicted of the murder of Tyre Nichols, they could spend the rest of their lives in jail.
And the way Tennessee law is, if there are multiple people, just for logistical purposes here, 5 guys here are beating up on this one man. If you're involved in it, you kick the guy once, maybe you kick him in the butt or something, right? Which isn't life-threatening to kick somebody in the butt. You're still culpable for the murder. Like if because the assumption with Tennessee law is that the actions that are being done by the group, the 5 officers, led or can lead to his death, you are culpable for the murder, even if you hardly took part in it. So that's why all 5 of these guys are in trouble,
And I just
serious
don't understand
trouble.
How 5 people, how do 5
I don't know.
officers go along with it? I don't understand.
Rage? I mean, that's the only explanation, and it's not a good enough explanation. Amy Marks, Coors, Chris Ranji, Mike Claiborne will be joining us next on KMOX.
Following the Dave Glover Show at 5 o'clock, it's Total Information PM. Hey, I'm Michael Calhoun. Check in with Kevin Wheeler and me for the latest news and information. Roger covers your commute. Dave Murray's got the forecast. Matt Pauley has sports. We'll take deep dives on local issues and help you be a smarter consumer. At 5:30, the CBS Evening News helps you understand what's happening around the country and the world. Total Information PM at 5 o'clock, right after Dave Glover on the trusted voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
You know when you start up a motorcycle and you hear it go vroom, vroom, vroom when it takes off? I was losing that. I was losing my energy like everybody does as they grow older. And I don't want to be tired. I don't want to look tired, and I don't want to be tired. I started using Balance of Nature about 1.5 years ago. Noticed the results immediately. And I went, oh my gosh, this works. This is what I've been missing all my life. I am loving life actually more than I ever have. I missed my va-va voom. I got it back.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. See why Kathy Lee Gifford and thousands of others have had life-changing success with Balance of Nature. Take advantage of our New Year's offer while you still can. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com. That's 1-800-246-8751 and get $25 off plus a free fiber and spice when you use discount code KLG.
Download Upside and start getting cash back wherever you roll. It's like having your own hype man. Get an average of 17% cash back at restaurants.
Oh, it's dinner time.
Average of 13% on groceries.
Get those groceries.
10 cents per gallon average cash back on gas.
It's go time.
Plus, cash back at participating convenience stores too.
Stacks on stacks.
Users can earn hundreds of dollars a year, 3 times more than other apps.
Upside, show me that money.
All right, we get it. It's easy. Just sign up for the free Upside app and start getting cash back for doing you. Download the free Upside app and use promo code DOYOU for an extra $10 cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. That's promo code DOYOU for an extra $10 on the free Upside app. Get cash back for doing you with the free app from Upside.
At 11:31, it's a sunny sky, 46 degrees downtown at the Arch. The city of Memphis and the nation are bracing for the release of a police video depicting 5 officers viciously beating a black man who later died. Tyree Nichols' death prompted murder charges against the officers and outrage at the country's latest instance of police brutality. New Russian shelling has killed at least 10 Ukrainian civilians and wounded 20 others in a day, according to the office of Ukraine's president. Staffing shortages are a growing problem for pharmacies, CBS's Jim Krasula explains.
CVS and Walmart plan to cut pharmacy hours in the midst of a shortage of pharmacists, according to a published report. That has been a problem throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Walgreens had earlier said it was operating thousands of stores on reduced hours because of staffing shortages.
We've got some debris on 6440 going east at Winghaven. The right lane has been closed. A stall 44 west at Lewis Road. Watch out there. And the forecast from Dean DeVore, we could have a lot of clouds tonight with a low 33 degrees. For tomorrow, early sun to clouds. Breezy and mild again with some showers. Breezy in the afternoon. Rain arrives in the afternoon with a high of 51 degrees. And that could start to freeze on untreated surfaces as it turns colder tomorrow night. At the moment, sun and 46 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
You have more control over how much you pay in taxes when you retire than at any other time in your life. Don't miss Your Retirement Professors, Saturday afternoons at 1 on St. Louis's News Radio, KMOX.
Broadcasting from the Underline Three Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight guaranteed only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late-day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Also, stop smoking with Mark Patrick. No matter how many times you tried to quit, this hypnosis is designed to destroy your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Seminars Wednesday, February 1st at the Holiday Inn Express Suites St. Louis Airport in St. Louis, and Thursday, February 2nd at the 4 Points by Sheraton St. Louis Fairview Heights in Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Scott Rowland, elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Here, Rowland, the pitch to him. Swing and get up, baby. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Home run. Listen to Cardinal Nation.
Congratulations from the home of Cardinals Nation, KMOX.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark scores on the show, and coming to us from sunny Florida, where it's beautiful and getting ready for baseball season, is our very own Mike Claiborne. Claibs, how are you doing this morning?
I'm good, but I'm not in Florida.
I thought you were in Florida.
I'm on the Cardinal Cruise. No, I'm on the Cardinal Cruise.
That's right.
And we went to Grand Cayman, Ocho Rios in Jamaica, and today we are in Nassau in the Bahamas.
That sounds really nice. How is it?
No snow.
No snow?
No snow to talk about.
Okay. I like
so,
snow.
Other than that, we're good. You can have it all. You can have my share if you need
Yes,
to.
fine. Give it all to me. Thank you very much.
Okay. I don't know. I'm allergic to cold weather and snow at this point.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
How has
no.
How's the cruise been? What's been going on?
Cruise
What kind of
has been terrific.
activities?
Well, we have we've been doing this for a long time. This year we took some Cardinals from yesteryear, and Danny Cox and Tom Pagnazzi. Let's see, who else do we have here? Kerry Robinson's with us. And we've had a pretty good time. And Tom Lawless. So, he's told a bat flip story and a few other things. Danny Cox is like one of my favorite Cardinals of all time because he's too big not to like. So it's been fun. We've had a lot of good time. And I think we 200 Cardinal fans. And so we just kind of mingle. We all try and have dinner at the same time together. And, had a big poker tournament yesterday. By the way, guy won the poker tournament, had never really played before. He was an accountant, and this is his first cruise, and he won.
Oh, he's counting cards.
And
that's why he's on
he's
counting cards. That's what he's doing.
Sandbagger. That's what he was.
He is.
Yeah. So he didn't get money, but he got some other people. So it was fun. But no, we had a good time. Of course, this time of year, the weather is always good in this part of the world. And, you just kind of hang out and just relax and lose track of time and is on the calendar and all that stuff.
We talked about it before. I'm certain we talked about it before. The candidacy of Scott Rowland to get into the Hall of Fame. Well, this week we got the word that he is in the Hall of Fame. What are your thoughts?
Well, congratulations to him. There's been a real interesting debate in baseball when you look at his numbers. His numbers in some cases don't stack up to others. But you know what? At that time, he was the best third baseman of his era. And while he had some injuries and things of that nature, he's really a good player. And obviously, he won a World Series with the Cardinals, and it was good when he was with us. Got hurt when he was with us, and the unfortunate thing was, he and Tony didn't get along, and that was one of the unfortunate things about it. But you know what? I'm happy that he's in. I think, though, what we're going to have to do is start looking at how we select people for the Hall of Fame, because we have people who vote on people who they never saw play or never covered, and they just go to Baseball Reference and look at his WAR number or what he did. And I think you really have to. I think they should weight it this way: Hall of Famer gets more weight, person covers gets more weight, and I think their weight, as far as voting is concerned, should be better. Should have more influence compared to some guys who just got a writer's card and decided he can vote. And now we have people who make the Hall of Fame selection more about them or who they don't vote for, compared to people who actually saw these people play. So I think they've got to change it. I doubt if they will, because this is the one time writers have a visible impact. And I don't think they want to lose that, because I think it's more ego than anything else.
Claves, when you look at the Hall of Fame, can you name a handful of guys that you personally don't think should be there? Not as a slight against them, just as regarding the standard of the Hall of Fame as it should be.
Wow. You know what? That's a good question. And I'm sure if I went through it, I would say, this guy, I don't know. But I think there's some guys who should have been in well before now. I mean, like this year, I thought Andrew Jones should have been in. I thought Todd Helton should have been in. But, for one reason or another, they don't get in. And I think one of the great travesties was Lee Smith having to wait all those years. When he retired, he was the all-time saves leader. And for some reason, it took like 10 years before he could get in. And I thought that was BS. And there's some other guys who I think should have been in. I'll tell you another. I think Keith Hernandez probably should be in. When you look at his numbers, if you didn't see him play, then sorry about that. But the guy was an MVP. He was Gold Glove multiple times. I think he's a guy that should be in. And again, I go back to my original point. We've got to take a look at how this voting process works, because I think we're missing the boat. And, there's some guys who probably should be in. Maybe there's a few guys that probably shouldn't be in. And I think it's all having to do with the voters, and maybe there's too many of them who didn't see any or didn't cover these people when they were playing.
I'll tell you one that's always bothered me, and he finally did get in. The reason it bothers me is they waited until like 7 years after he died before they put him in, and that was Minnie Minoso. And Minoso, like that guy... I know it was sort of a novelty that he played a couple of games in the 70s and played a couple of games in the 80s, and he started his career in 1946. So I get that later in life, but he had good numbers. There was a significance to him being in baseball, and they waited until way after he died to put him in. I just say the whole point for me of the Hall of Fame is that the player gets to enjoy it. He gets to enjoy being a Hall of Famer.
I agree with you, Chris.
Yeah.
I agree. Buck O'Neill's a guy like that. He's one of the greatest ambassadors the game baseball has ever had. And he's been dead for at least 10 years, and they put him in. And I'm like, okay, so what's the problem here? So, there's some people who probably should have been in, and I agree with you. I think let's honor these people while they're still on the planet. And Mike Shannon always used to say, it's not about the player or the person. It's about the fact that his family can enjoy it.
Sure.
And I've always looked at that in that manner where, you know, you do it because your family is getting a bigger kick out of it. You know, you're honoring them as well. So, you know, yeah, don't get me started on this Hall of Fame thing, because we can go until 3:00, because I just think that the way they do it is just, I think it's flawed. And I'm not just saying baseball. You know, you look at the NFL, it's a committee of people who speaks up for you. You know, where if you're a writer, you have to make a presentation to the other people in the room, and I don't think that's right either. There's got to be some middle ground somewhere.
Claibs, I know you've addressed this. I don't think I've ever asked you, though, just what about the cheaters? Should there be a Hall of Cheaters for the steroid era? Should they not get in? How do you view that?
Hey, you know what? You know, you're throwing some great questions. I say no. I say no because, you know, they knew that it was illegal, okay? They knew it and they continued to. But here's the difference, though, you know, and you can talk about Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds and people like that. I think the reason why they don't get in compared to guys who we suspect were cheating are in, they weren't good to the media. They were cantankerous. They were rude. They were not nice people. And I think some of the writers and some of the voters who had a chance to vote just said, you know what, I know you were a really good player and I know you cheated, but I don't like it because you weren't nice to me. And I think for me overall, I think that the cheaters shouldn't be in. And, you know, you can say, well, this guy was loading up fastballs with spitballs and things. And I get that. But I think in this era, knowing the significant impact it had on the game, I just don't think you should do it. I don't think they should be in.
Yeah, I come up on the other side of that. Yeah, because I mean Barry Bonds for me, just even without it,
he was a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, without
he was a Hall of Famer before he was
Clemens.
Allegedly, yeah, same way.
Yeah.
Those two especially were already Hall of Famers before anybody suspected them of doing anything. But then there's another category of guys who all of a sudden became very, very good before, you know, they played in the league for a while, and they all of a sudden became very, very good because they were using the juice or allegedly using the juice. So, but I agree. I think Bonds and Clemens are unique with regard to their situation because I thought they were already Hall of Famers.
Last thing for you, Claibs, before we go, we're getting very close to pitchers and catchers reporting. It's the 13th, right, of February. Do you think anything happens between now and then as far as the roster goes?
No, I don't think so. And here's why. I think they want to take a long look at some people. And because of the WBC, you're going to have a lot of players that are going to be playing elsewhere. So they want to take a long look at some people and just kind of evaluate what they have. There's no player out there that's a free agent that can help this team be better. Okay, so any deal, any move you make is going to be via a trade. So what I would do, and I think what fans should do is this. Once they evaluate what they have, they now know what they need, and now they know they have assets that they can use to make a trade. So the trade may not happen right off the bat, but if they realize, oh boy, we're going to need more of this at this position, or we're going to need some help in the bullpen, or we're going to need another starter, they now have the assets, whether it's prospects or players that are currently on the roster, to move to go out and get someone, maybe not even for a quick fix, because, you know, as they mentioned, you know, they have money. So maybe there's a guy on another team that maybe this team wants to move on from. He's got another year on his contract. Maybe he's got 2 years. You go make a deal for that guy. If he's a front end legitimate starter or legitimate bat in your lineup, you can make that deal. So I think what I say to everybody, and by the way, this is going to be the most competitive spring training we've had in a long time, because the outfield is open for business, 3 positions that are open. You have the DH for the left side and the right side. You have second base. And, you know, you've got pitching. You've got the bullpen to think about and who's going to do what there. So there's a lot of things that are going to happen this year in spring training, which is why I think going to be one of the most competitive, most intriguing spring trainings we've had. And, you know, I'll throw another example. I said Paul DeYoung. Here's a guy who thinks he's fixed to swing. So what do we do with him? Is he a shortstop? Is he a third baseman? Is he a DH? And then you've got Nolan Gorman on the left side. I mean, there's going to be so many side stories to this year's spring training. I would just say to everybody, stay tuned because it's going to be fun.
Claibs, appreciate the time. Enjoy the weather.
Too late. I've already done that.
All right, we'll keep doing it then.
All
And
right.
then we'll talk to you next
from
week when you're
Florida
still
next
enjoying weather.
I'm going to do that until we get back to St. Louis.
That's right. you will.
Man,
And then
Claibs doesn't have
All
time
right.
for your
You got
nonsense, Ranj.
No, my nonsense. I just said, I tell him to enjoy himself. That's not nonsense. I care about Claibs.
Well, that's nice of you.
I think he's gone now.
I do too.
Bye, Mike. That's Mike Claiborne. Amy Marks, Coors, Chris Ranji. By the way, I mentioned Minnie Minoso, who did play for 1 year with the Cardinals. Didn't play the entire season, but he was on the team with Mike Shannon was on that team. Gibson was on the team. Kurt Flood was on that team, 1962. And started his career in the American League in 1949. The last game he played was in 1980.
Wow.
Yes.
4 decades.
So, yeah. And he finally
5
got into the
decades.
Hall of Fame way after he died. And I hate the Hall of Fame, to be honest. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I hate how the whole process works. Anyway, good for Scott Rowland, though, and he gets to enjoy it because that's the entire point, is that the player and his family gets to enjoy being in the Hall of Fame. Amy Marks, Coors, and Chris Ranji, we're going to have some beer when we come back on the show.
What really matters to you? At Archwell Health, that's what matters to us. When Linda told her doctor about the trip her family planned for her 70th birthday, our team worked together to improve her mobility. Then there's Shirley, who wanted to lose a little weight. She and her doctor chose an Archwell Health exercise class, and her dietitian also had a few ideas. We're here to help you live your life to the fullest because you are more than a patient. Join today at archwellhealth.com/livewell.
Hi, this is Kent Newbold for Newbold BMW. We just celebrated our 35th year as a BMW dealer by finishing our multi-million-dollar renovation. So come see it. It's Newbold BMW in O'Fallon, Illinois, or newboldbmw.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
Achieve your financial goals with a first-line home equity loan from First Community. Apply by February 28th and get an amazing introductory rate of 3.69% APR for the first 12 months. First Community even pays all your closing costs. $1 share deposit required. Must qualify for membership. Loan subject to credit approval. Offer does not include refinances on First Community loans. Visit firstcommunity.com for terms and conditions or call 888-642-7969. Federally insured by the NCUA. Equal housing lender. NMLS 684198.
Holiday decorations are down, but the Salvation Army loves Beyond Christmas year-round. Support our daily work that provides food, shelters, and encouragement to the children, families, veterans, and more in our community. So give what you can, whether large or small, and donate to the Salvation Army at salarmymidland.org or call 314-646-3000 today. Let's love Beyond Christmas. Donate today at salarmymidland.org.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
Charlie Brennan sees clearly thanks to Dr. Birdie and Malhotra. You can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
Happy New Year from our friends at Zero Res 2023. Time to get your home Zero Resified with all the services at 23% off. You must book in January. Call 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com for 23% off all of our services.
Home Sweet Home mission is to give underserved families a sense of pride and to improve the quality of their lives by providing basic household furnishings. To learn more, go to homesweethomestl.org.
More Amy, more Chris. What is this weird show? The Show on KMOX.
I could use some beer, not because it's Friday, but
Why not?
because
Why
I
not?
have to, because I got to work with Amy.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
you need a drink to take the edge off. sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Get me a 6-pack of Yingling because I hear Stuart McMillan. Amy Marks Kors is here. There she
Yeah,
is.
I'm here too.
Yeah, who cares?
Sometimes I just sit here and I'm
Yeah,
like, all right, Ron,
yeah,
may I
Just
say a word?
introduce me at some point.
Yeah.
That's Amy. She's the one who's causing the problems.
Hmm.
Stuart McMillan from the newsroom, the KMOX newsroom, has stopped in to tell us about a new beer coming to town, and I'm very excited.
Yes, and I just want to say, Stuart,
yes,
he needs the beer not because of me,
Oh.
but because he's crabby because his hat is too tight.
My hat is too tight. My hat is too
And
tight.
is your wristwatch too tight as well?
No, I can adjust it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I try not to get the fitted caps.
Mhm.
But
I always
sometimes
go fitted.
If you like a cap, you don't have a choice. Sometimes.
Yeah.
There's this cap that I have. It's a 1980. Is this 82?
82.
Yeah.
Yeah, 82 World Series cap. And it was only fitted. And New Era has a problem with quality control.
Yep.
Sometimes the appropriate size is too tight, like
I
way
agree
too
with this.
tight.
Yes.
And sometimes you can get 2 fingers up in your head.
And these
You know
are
what I mean?
two hat guys. Both
We're
of
two
these
hat
guys
guys.
wear a lot of hats.
Yeah. So New Era makes too many hats because they're just pushing them out there.
Mhm.
Right.
You ever seen the movie Gung Ho?
Gung
with
Ho,
Michael
Gung
Keaton?
Ho. No, I have not
It's about
seen
a car manufacturer.
Mhm.
Not
Japanese,
hats.
Right.
Okay.
And they try to produce too many cars,
Mhm.
and they're all crappy at the end.
That's
what New Era
And
does.
I just want
sometimes.
people to know that when Ranj does take his hat off, he has a red line across his
Yeah,
forehead.
so I don't have any blood in my head right now.
Yeah, so if he's extra stupid or wrong, it's because of that.
It's not the beer, it's the hat.
It's the
But
hat.
I do love New Era caps if you want to sponsor the show. Anyway,
okay.
Stuart McMillan, tell us about Yingling Beer, who
Hey.
can also sponsor the show. That'd be great. I
Sure.
love
You know,
Yingling.
it's kind of hard talking to you sometimes on the show because it's like talking to that guy from Home Improvement. Like,
Yeah, the fence, because you can't-
It's like I can't
there's
see
the
your
stupid
mouth.
monitor.
I can
Yeah,
only see
yeah.
your eyes. So
Yeah.
it's like, hey, neighbor.
Hey, how's it going, buddy?
Oh,
Hey,
there
buddy.
you are.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a
Hey,
real
buddy.
person. Okay, good. Now I know. Everybody knows.
Yep.
Okay, Yingling is coming to town. We have some dates. It was released to Camel X this week.
Wow.
I don't
Nice.
think anybody else had this, so I was very
It's an
happy with it.
exclusive.
It was exclusive beer pour right into our newsroom
Beautiful.
of information, pouring out the information. Oh, so many puns. We can
All
go
right,
with
just
this.
tell us when it's coming.
Are you sure? You want to know
Yeah,
right now?
I mean, what in the hell?
When is the Yingling gonna be here?
All right.
New Era. Too
Hey,
many hats.
Yingling. Guy's a real Yingling. All right.
Yingling ding. Bars and restaurants will have it.
How did you get
What's the
hired?
matter with you? Let's have some decorum around here.
This is KMOX.
This is the
We're the goofballs. You're
this
the
is the
newsroom.
home of
Hey.
John Carney and Jack Buck
And Bob
and Bob
Costas.
Costas.
I
Clean
know.
it up.
I'm amazed.
Bob
that
Highland right now
Is rolling over in his grave.
I haven't heard that over 1,000 times.
What?
February 6th.
February 6th.
That's
coming
when
up, baby.
the bars and restaurants will start getting their taps.
Okay.
And it's going to be on tap first. And then a month later, March 6th, the packaged beer will start rolling in at the distributor. And there's going to be a distributor called Breakthrough Beverage. They just changed names a couple of years ago.
I think they used to be Wirtz.
I think
Beverage.
well, maybe so.
Or
Major
well-
Brands is what they were called last.
Yeah, okay.
So it
Yeah,
might have
yeah,
been that
yeah.
before that. But the Breakthrough Beverage is going to be sending out the beer.
Nice.
And we're going to have Yingling, which is kind of unusual
Yes.
for this area because we've never had it before. But a lot of people bootleg this stuff
Yeah.
into Missouri. It's a modern day bootlegging that will disappear now because
Really?
it's here. Oh, yeah. People, every time they go down to Florida, anywhere south or east, and there's Yingling in the supermarkets, they grab several cases. I talked to the bartender, Callie Chafin at JJ Twigs, who's going to have it on tap after February 6th.
Nice.
She told me, at the location of Southampton there, she told me that her family every January goes to Florida, and when they come back, they have 20 or more cases
Nice.
in the vehicle. I mean,
Nice.
wouldn't you have to take another vehicle to put all
Yeah.
of those into?
Or you just don't pack clothes.
It just
So you
they're
have room for
naked
the
down
beer.
there.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I'm here for the beer. Why are you naked? You don't have any clothes on.
Have you
Tell me,
had Yingling
what's going on
before,
here?
Stu?
I have. I've had it many times. I've had it on tap,
I
bottle,
really
and
like it.
can. I'm a
What
fan.
kind of
I'm
beer
a
is
fan.
it?
It is, well, their traditional beer is an amber beer. It's a lager.
Mhm.
So it's just a traditional beer, but there's something about that color and the taste that just goes down really smooth. I'm telling you. And this is not an endorsement.
No.
You know, it's on my own personal endorsement. I do like Yingling. I'm a fan. But I was in Florida at the end of the year, and I was at a shrimp place or whatever near the beach, and
Shrimp place near the
Bunch
beach.
of short guys working there. Anyway, go ahead.
jumbo
So-
shrimp.
Oh.
Actually, jumbo shrimp.
Yeah.
So big
Would you
people
call it
serving
a
small
seafood
things.
restaurant?
I would say seafood. Yes.
Yeah.
Would you quit? Stop. We only have so much time before we have to get to the news.
Taking
Would
a
you-
lady to a shrimp place.
All right.
Stuart,
Well, there it is. There's the cue.
Yeah, because we have a
America's
You
Funniest
would
America's
shut
Funniest
up
Home
about
Videos.
the hats.
February
You
6th.
started it.
It's coming February 6th, folks.
All right.
Yingling is the greatest.
Yingling. I love
You gotta
Yingling
get
beer.
it.
Thank you, Stuart
Thanks,
McMillan.
Stuart. I like your hat.
Stuart's the best. Amy, you're the not. I love you.
You're the
Amy, Mark Scores, and Chris Ronji.
He's on KMOX.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Charlie Brennan here. Last year, Beth and I discovered water in the ceiling near the chimney in the front of our house. We immediately called Morelli Tuck Pointing, St. Louis's premier tuck pointer since 1991. The Morelli team then tuck pointed the front and the rear chimneys above the roof and spot tuck pointed below the roof. Morelli used a waterproof mortar that perfectly matched the existing mortar. Then the guys re-cemented the cap, sealed the flashing, and waterproofed the chimney. They then cleaned up so you could never tell any work was done. The Brennans no longer see any water in our front room, and I think if you live in a brick or stone home in need of repair, call the company that's received the Angie's List Super Service Award every year, back to back to back since 2005. Morelli, winner of the BBB Torch Award. Check out their reviews on the Google, Angie's List, and Better Business Bureau websites. MorelliTuckPointing.com, 314-645-1387.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Hi, it's Debbie Monterey, and when I make a recommendation, you can be sure that I've done my homework and I only promote the best. So when it comes to real estate, I only recommend one realtor, and that is Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I've been recommending Gloria for years now. I've met her clients, I've seen her systems, and she's the only agent I would trust to sell my home. Gloria Liu's proven track record for selling hundreds of homes this year alone should give you the confidence that she will help you sell for the most money, or the fact that Gloria already has the buyers. Buyers looking to buy right now. That's why Gloria will actually guarantee in writing to sell your home at your price and your time frame, or she'll buy it herself. Call Gloria Liu today at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or you can find her online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 12 noon, it's a sunny sky, 48 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour. Emotions are running hot in Memphis ahead of the release of video showing the police stop that resulted in the death of 29-year-old Tyree Nichols.
Justice for Tyree signs are all over Memphis. People here are grieving, but they're also angry, and many don't trust the police.
People are literally violently murdered in the city of Memphis. And the city answers back by adding more police officers. Not this time. Right.
Not this time.
We're not going to take it no more.
One fear is the video could push the anger to a boiling point. Tennessee Department of Investigations Director David Roush has seen it.
And I'm grieved. Frankly, I'm shocked.
I'm sickened by what I saw.
Nichols' mother is calling for peaceful protests. Chris Fox for CBS News, Memphis.
And happening live right now in Memphis.
Justice for my son.
Justice for Tyree. 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 Justice for Tyree.
I just want to thank everybody again for coming. I don't have it. I have a lot of words that I want to say, but they're just not coming out right.
No, you're fine.
And I still haven't had time to grieve yet. I'm still dealing with the death of my son. This was not supposed to happen. My son was supposed to be with me today.
That is Rovon Wells, the mother of Tyree Nichols, talking live in Memphis, Tennessee right now. New York Governor Kathy Hochul says an effort to increase New York City subway safety has yielded results. The plan included increased law enforcement presence in and around subways, as well as a substantial investment in helping both people dealing with homelessness as well as mental illness. The governor says dealing with mental health is a main focus.
$1 billion investment, first time ever, the most aggressive approach the state of New York has taken to dealing with the issue of mental health since the deinstitutionalization of the 1970s.
A spokesman for Ukraine's Air Force says Russia used its latest hypersonic Kinzhal missiles to strike Ukrainian energy facilities in Kyiv and Zaporizhia regions on Thursday.
Yuri Inat says Ukraine lacks defenses against the Kinzhal, adding Russia has few such weapons and mostly uses them on high-priority targets. Russia uses missiles which the Ukraine air defenses can't detect and shoot down in time, adding that, unfortunately, we also have consequences from Kinzhal missiles and other missiles that reached the targets. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
The KMOX Business Desk. Consumers are tightening up their spending as 4-decade high inflation has weighed on personal finances. Here's CBS's Jason Brooks.
The government reports that personal spending declined 0.2% in December from November, the second straight monthly drop. Inflation remains high, but its pace of growth is gradually coming down, with the Federal Reserve's favored inflation index rising 5% in December from a year earlier, compared to 5.5% in November, while the core rate, skipping food and gas, was down from 4.7 to 4.4%. The Fed focuses on the core rate on worries over stickiness and high prices for things like rent, medical care, and other services that don't see rapid downward moves like food and gas.
The Fed is expected to raise its benchmark lending rate by a 0.25 percentage point next week, its first meeting of 2023. The Dow from Stifel's up 98 points to 34,048. And we've got a stall 64 east at 141, 44 west at Lewis Road, and 64 east at Winghaven. Some debris that had the right lane closed. Weather is sponsored by Jules on Hampton in St. Louis Hills.
Early showers and then some sun. Breezy, milder, low 50s this afternoon. And then 33 tonight, low 50s again tomorrow. Goes rain over to some ice. Some freezing rain tomorrow night into Sunday morning. Cold, high 31 on Sunday, dry and cold Monday, 25, and then a winter storm, mid-20s Tuesday. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Dean DeVore, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Jules on Hampton pays some of the highest prices for your precious metals, diamonds, semi-precious colored gems, coins, collectibles, sports memorabilia, and more. Shop Jules on Hampton for the perfect gift. Jules on Hampton, 4506 Hampton Avenue in St. Louis Hills. Sunny and 46 in Florissant, 50 in St. Peters, and 48 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The show and the draft.
The draft.
Building the perfect team.
I love the draft.
It's the draft.
More draft.
On the show.
It's the show. With Amy Marks Kors and Chris Rod. Do that, Amy.
It's the show.
Oh my God.
I joked it was so low.
You did.
It's the show. I'm Chris Ranji. That's my manly voice. I'm a manly man in a little bitty hat. Can you see this red line on my forehead?
Yeah,
it's because my hat is too tight.
It's the right size, too tight.
This is like Elizabeth Holmes, though, with Theranos. She used to talk like this. Oh, God. Michael Calhoun just gave me a look of death. Bad radio.
That's a bad radio, see? All right. Amy, What's the draft today? You saw a tweet and you were inspired by
I'm
this tweet.
inspired by this tweet. I saw it, and as soon as I saw it, I thought that young man, that is our draft, Ron.
Okay. All right.
Here's the draft. You're a burglar.
First of all, this is a tweet from Ryan Clark.
Yes.
So I believe he covers football.
I think so.
He's a football analyst.
At Real R Clark 25.
Yeah.
You're a burglar, but you only steal things to slightly inconvenience your victims.
So you're not stealing jewelry.
No.
Or money.
You're stealing things to slightly inconvenience your victims.
Okay.
What are you stealing?
Okay. So we're drafting things to steal from a house
That would slightly
inconvenience the person you're stealing from.
That's exactly right.
Okay. I guess you get to go first, right? Because I had the number one selection overall last week.
Mhm.
It is your turn, Amy, with your number one overall pick. What?
I have a question.
Yeah.
He, in his tweet, tweeted a thing that I would steal, but it's in his tweet. So should I
Nobody's
say
seen the tweet.
Okay.
So just go ahead and select what you want to select.
I'm stealing their phone chargers.
The phone charger.
Yeah. That's inconvenient.
That is very inconvenient to steal somebody's phone chargers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
that
the phone.
Now that
the
would
phone
really
charger.
That would suck.
Yep.
Because I have a friend was texting
Yeah.
with her a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And she just stopped texting.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like 10 o'clock. And then the next day, like 8, said, "Oh, sorry. I went to sleep and my phone died." And I'm like, how does your phone die at home?
Yeah. Well, it's not plugged in. That's how, Ron.
Yeah.
My
plug
phone
your
died
in.
yesterday at home.
I'm never at home and then my phone dies.
Yeah. My
That's
phone
never
died
happened.
yesterday.
Maybe she just didn't want to
So
talk
my
to me
first
anymore.
overall pick as
All
a
right.
burglar to steal something to slightly inconvenience the victim,
Yes.
a phone charger.
And go ahead, give us your picks too. 314-436-7900. And by the way, you need to follow us on Twitter at the show KMOX because we will tweet out our teams and the results of those teams, and then you can vote on who got the best draft.
Yep.
All right. My number one pick.
Mhm.
So this is second overall. Things to steal to inconvenience the person you're stealing from. A toilet.
Okay, you can't.
Yes, you can. You can go in with.
That's
Yes, you can.
dumb.
You can go in.
No.
Nope. Yep. You can go in with a wrench. You can unscrew the toilet. You could take it out. Can you imagine coming home?
Okay.
You have one
I
bathroom.
didn't. I was okay.
You come home. You have one bathroom, and the toilet's gone.
Yeah.
And you're like, let's say you've been working all day, or you've
Yeah.
been out and about running errands. You're like, man, I really gotta go. I gotta go. And you come home, no toilet. What do you do?
I feel like that's big.
You could very easily walk a toilet out the.
That's a
if
big
thieves-
inconvenience.
If burglars could take a safe out the front door, they can take a toilet out the front door.
Okay, see, to me, that's not the spirit of the thing because it's slightly
Well,
inconvenient.
you're wrong. That's a major
I
inconvenience.
feel like you're right. It's a major. This is slight inconvenience.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have stolen, like, oh, I'm going to steal their car.
Well, we're
that's
expanding it to major
no,
inconvenience.
you can't. Because
We're-
that changes my next pick, which is
Well, no. Think big.
no, I'm sticking with my original, which was
Okay.
the spirit of things,
All right.
slightly inconvenience. I am stealing all of their socks.
Okay. Okay. That would be a minor inconvenience,
Yes,
I guess.
because it says slightly inconvenience. You could
Yeah.
steal their car. That's a big inconvenience.
No, that's Grand Theft Auto. And that's the kind of thing you would steal. See, the way I take this is a thing that normally would not get stolen. A
Yeah.
car would get stolen. Jewelry would get stolen. Money.
You could steal a toilet for the
But
porcelain.
nobody breaks into a house to steal a toilet.
Nobody breaks into house to steal just socks.
Right. So we're on the same page here. You
You're going
figured
to
it out.
ruin this one.
No, this
Go.
one's great. All right. My number 2 pick.
Yeah.
Remote control.
That's a good one.
Think of how mad you get when you can't find the remote
Yeah.
and it's like in the couch.
Yeah.
Just how about you come home, there's no remote control,
Yeah.
and you think it's in the couch cushions, and
Yeah.
all you're doing is looking around the couch, under the table. Like, where is it?
Mhm.
Where is it? What if you broke into a home and it's the only thing you took was a remote control?
That would be so
That would be-
inconvenient.
That would be
It would
actually
be the worst.
that'd be psychological torture.
It would be
Yeah.
because it's not actually the worst crime ever, but
No.
it's so irritating. It feels
It's
like a
so
felony.
irritating. All right, go ahead. Your number 3 pick.
Toothpaste.
Toothpaste.
Because it's one thing to steal a toothbrush, right?
Okay.
You can use your finger, put the toothpaste. We've all had to do it at some point
In
in our
an
life.
emergency, I've used a paper towel with toothpaste on
Yeah,
it.
but
Rolled
if
it
you
up.
steal all of the toothpaste,
Yep.
that's inconvenient.
You can use baking soda.
Okay.
All right. That's your number 3 pick.
Yep.
You went with toothpaste. My number 3 pick, number 6 overall.
Yeah.
The pillows.
Oh, that's a good one.
Where are my pillows? What are you going to do without any pillows?
You want to
You
hear?
gonna wad up
wanna
a
hear
jacket?
Want to hear the weirdest thing? I would rather, and I have, sleep with no pillow than sleep with a pillow that's too thick. I've gone to a hotel
agree with that.
where the pillows are too thick. They're,
Well, I
they're
haven't.
too thick. It hurts your head. And I would sleep with no pillow. I just sleep with my hands on the mattress.
Let me tell you, I don't know if I've ever gone to a hotel
Mhm.
and hated the pillows. Meanwhile,
yeah.
I have purchased approximately 425 pillows
Mhm.
trying to find one that works,
Mhm.
and I can't. I cannot find a pillow that I like. But if I'm at a hotel, they're all great.
There are a lot of things to hate about the My Pillow guy, but can I just say, I have heard from Mrs. Mark Scores that the My Pillow guy pillows are terrible.
She bought oh, they're terrible?
Yeah.
She bought one?
Yeah, but it was before My Pillow
became
guy
a weirdo?
was My Pillow guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she did what you did. She has bought 425 pillows.
Okay.
Anyway, my number 4 pick
Number 4,
Overall.
number 7 overall.
is all of the bath towels,
Bath towels.
except for the wash rags. So, like, you know what I mean? It's inconvenient. You have a wash rag, you get out of the shower, you can make it work, but it's
Yeah.
inconvenient. So the bath towels, except for the wash rags.
That's not a bad one at all. I like it. All right. Number 8 overall. My number 4 pick, the glasses.
Hmm.
Any of the cups,
Like
or
cups and
glasses.
glasses. Yeah.
So if you go, Stuart McMillan, no, it wasn't Stuart. It was Michael Calhoun from the newsroom. Several months ago, I witnessed him drinking coffee out of a bowl because we didn't have any cups here at the time.
KMOX,
So we went-
ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, there's not office wear or kitchenware. So he had to resort to using a bowl.
That's sad.
Who wants to drink coffee out of a bowl?
Nobody.
I almost would rather not have the coffee. There's something about drinking out of a mug.
Yeah.
So I would take all of the glasses and cups.
Mm-hmm.
Would be a major inconvenience. All right, Amy, your 5th pick, number 9 overall in the minor inconvenience draft.
I would take all the batteries out of everything that has batteries.
Batteries. Okay.
Just, but everything that takes batteries. So your remote, I'd take the batteries out of the remote. I take the batteries out of everything. You're like, oh my gosh, I had to put batteries in this.
Would you take the spare batteries too?
I mean, that would be an inconvenience, but I think for the spirit of the thing, no. Only the batteries that are in everything, because that's a slight inconvenience when you
Yeah.
got to put the batteries back in the stuff.
I would, if I was going to steal batteries, I would specifically steal all of the 9 volts, and I would replace the one 9-volt where the smoke detector is with one that's dead, and I would put it in and shut the thing so that it just beeps over and over again.
Yeah.
And you have no batteries to replace it.
I've got another one. Can you go?
Damn. All right. I am picking, and I'm making this pick with the assumption the toilet's still there.
Okay.
Toilet paper,
Okay. That's a good one. I had that one.
because there's no other option. If you don't have a bidet in your house,
Oh, there's an option.
no, there isn't.
I can tell
because
you.
you can't flush anything that's
Little
not toilet
pieces.
paper.
You can tear anything into small enough pieces, and here's what it is. It goes toilet paper,
Nope.
then tissues,
Nope.
then
Tissues, fine,
then
maybe.
napkins, then paper
No
towels,
napkins.
then
No paper
coffee
towels.
filters.
Coffee
they
filters?
hurt. They hurt.
What? You've done that?
I'm not saying I've done it.
Well, you just said they hurt.
I know that, like, a
Ew.
nail in your fingernail hurts, and I haven't done that.
Well, that's obvious. Amy, have you used coffee filters before? Oh, no. Oh, no.
I'm not saying I am.
Ooh. Amy.
Saying I
Yes,
am.
you are.
No, I'm not.
Ew.
No, you're making assumptions.
That's so bad. Ew. Ugh.
Okay.
You're
Here's
awful.
what my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
All right, so this is our bonus pick.
My bonus pick.
Yeah. Oh,
I would
God.
unscrew all the caps and lids off of everything that has a cap and
All
a
the
lid,
caps and-
and just put them in a bag and walk out.
You're so dumb.
Milk,
All right.
jars of jelly,
Yeah, I get
peanut
it.
butter, cleaning fluid, anything that has a cap or a lid, I'm unscrewing it and going home.
All right.
That's super inconvenient. That might be the most inconvenient.
All right. Well, this is a very minor inconvenience. I'm
Yeah.
going to pick trash bags.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's an underwhelming pick. I get it, but
Yeah.
it would be inconvenient.
Underwhelming. You're used to that.
Yeah, I am. I work with you. Yeah, that's it.
hurtful.
Trash bags. So that's my. Here are our teams now. I can't get over the coffee filter thing.
No, I'm just saying the hierarchy of toilet paper alternatives is tissue,
Yeah, no,
napkins,
there's no hierarchy.
paper towels,
You
coffee
can't,
filters.
You can't flush some of those things
If
at
you
home.
rip a little piece of paper towel, a tiny little square
Amy.
from like a toilet paper
No.
square size square, you can. If you
No.
have to, what's your alternative, Ron? You don't wipe?
Just I can't leave the house.
You take a shower, probably.
I have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have to.
But what if you're not in a position to take a shower?
Well, that wouldn't happen. Because if I go somebody else's place, or if I'm in public, I check first.
That's smart.
Yeah. All right. Here are the teams for items you can steal from somebody else to create
A slight
an inconvenience.
A slight inconvenience.
Or a major inconvenience. Amy's team: phone charger, socks,
All of their socks.
all the socks, toothpaste, bath towels, batteries, caps and lids.
Like unscrew the caps and lids.
No, I get it.
I feel like I need to
I
make
get
this
it.
list. You're not. You
I get
missed the spirit of mine.
My list: toilet, remote control, pillows, glasses and cups, toilet paper, and trash bags. So these are the minor inconvenience stuff. I think we've done a great job of inconveniencing somebody. Imagine all of those things being gone.
Honestly, I think one of the worst ones is the caps and lids, because the milk, strawberry jelly, peanut
Yeah.
butter, ketchup, mustard, Clorox bleach. What are you gonna do? There's no caps and lids, and all of those have different sizes, caps and lids.
Amy, thank
What?
you. Appreciate
I'm
your time.
actually upset.
Appreciate your time on the show. Thanks for joining us today.
I'm upset about the caps and lids.
Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji. You can text us. What would you have picked in our draft? Minor inconvenience theft. 314-436-7900. Voicemails 944-1120 on KMOX.
Well, if you are a business owner and your business has 5 or more employees and you managed to survive a lot of major inconveniences, speaking of inconveniences such as shutdowns, restrictions, supply chain issues, worker shortages, inflation, well, you could be eligible to receive a payroll tax rebate of up to $26,000 per employee. Now, this is not a loan, and there's nothing that you have to worry about paying back later. It is a refund of your taxes. Here's the website: getrefunds.com. Getrefunds.com. The team of tax attorneys that they've put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program, and they've already returned $1 billion to businesses, and they can help you too. Now, your business can qualify. You could still be eligible, even if you took PPP, even if you're a nonprofit, even if you saw an actual increase in sales in the past couple of years. To find out if your business qualifies, just go to getrefunds.com, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. Getrefunds.com.
On Monday's Total Information AM, find out why a museum in North St. Louis is the site for a $1 million art installation by a world-famous architect. I'm Debbie Monterey with a story from the Grillo Museum of Black History. That's Monday on KMOX.
Men suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, regardless of age or past medical history, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Paramount Men's Medical Center. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free. Call now 314-720-8081.
I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. Over the past decade, Coalition Life has served thousands of women in crisis pregnancies, helping to save the lives of the children that they carry. Help us build a better community while also reducing or completely eliminating your Missouri taxes with a 70% tax credit. A $1,000 donation today to help these women could cost you as little as $141 out of pocket. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com. Thank you.
All right. With the severe cold weather we received, remember, furnaces aren't made or sized to handle this type of extreme temperatures. Your house isn't built for this extreme weather. You're going to feel it, so don't panic, don't overspend. But if you've experienced uncomfort, I can't say the word. If you've been uncomfortable in your house for at least a couple, 3, 4, 5 years, you need to call me. Don't base your call on the extreme cold weather we just experienced. But if you like your furnace checked, just to make sure, call me, Bart Inman. Remember, as always, just one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. That's Bart Inman, 314-293-2600. Do the internet thing, Bart Inman. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.
Station KMOX, an equal opportunity employer, is dedicated to providing a broad outreach for job vacancies at our stations. We seek the help from local community organizations in referring qualified applicants to our stations. Community organizations that wish to receive our job vacancy information can reach out to Frankie Fan at 206-577-2432. In addition, all listeners are encouraged to visit Odyssey.com for an online listing of job vacancies of all Odyssey radio stations.
Nearly a century of informing, entertaining, and serving St. Louis. KMOX.
Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji on the show on KMOX. We just completed our draft.
Yeah.
And here on Draft Friday. And the draft is things you can steal from somebody else as a burglar.
As a burglar, if you're burgling.
That can inconvenience, that only inconveniences the people you're stealing from. So obviously not jewelry, no money, watches,
it's a
cars,
slight,
that kind
the
of thing.
technical term, the actual term was slightly inconvenient.
Yeah, we went with inconvenience. We had a lot of suggestions.
Okay.
A lot of people said the TV remote.
Yeah, that's a
would
good.
probably be the most inconvenient thing you could possibly get.
Very frustrating.
One texter suggested going into the house, drink almost all of the milk,
That's a really good one.
leaving the carton in a few drops.
Too late. Oh no, too late.
That is an inconvenience. That's more of just like, come on, man, what the hell?
No, I think that's a brilliant text. That is one of the most inconvenient things because you're at the grocery store, you think you have milk, and you pick it up, and as Jerry Seinfeld said, too late. Oh no, that feeling. We all know that feeling.
I was told that I'm an idiot that I should steal the garage door opener from the car.
But doesn't everyone have a keypad now for the garage?
But think about how inconvenient it is to come home and have to get out of the car to press in the keypad number. And then get back in the car and then...
Yeah.
Because I used to park in this lot that had a gate, like a chain-linked gate. And it was closed by a chain with a combination lock. So you'd have to pull into the alley and you'd have to undo it because it was right by a ballpark and people would find parking wherever they would take your space. So they had to close it off somehow. This is the most inconvenient way to do it. Because you have to get out of the car, unlock the, do the padlock. Oh,
I've gone to a family member's house. They have that. It's like just a wooden gate with a chain. It's such a pain because you also have to park far enough away from the gate because of the way they swung you had to swing the gates out. So then it's in the rain and the snow.
Yeah.
It's a pain.
Yeah. A texter says, take anything off the counter. It would drive them crazy wondering where they lost it. I know I put it on the counter.
Yeah.
That would be extremely irritating.
Yeah.
A lot of people said toilet paper,
Mhm.
of course. Somebody, Big Blonde Dan, who we found out from
He was at
all of
Glover
our
Live.
friends at the DGS, at the DGS Live last night, is apparently a tall, handsome man.
Big Blonde Dan?
And is not a 55-year-old loser.
Big Blonde Dan, we're not saying that's anyway, I thought you were that. What I am saying is you received rave reviews.
Rave reviews of how
Rave
good-looking Big Blonde Dan is.
We even got a in the moment text. I just met Big Blonde Dan. He is tall and young and very handsome.
And then a separate person came into the office today.
Yeah.
Did you guys see Big Blonde Dan last night?
Oh, I mean, we
anyway,
weren't there, so we didn't see you, Big Blonde Dan.
So
But we just
Big
want to say,
Blonde Dan
nice job.
Is tall, handsome, and has all of his stuff together.
Yeah.
And listens to KMOX all day. And he's younger.
And he's young.
He's in
Yeah.
his 30s. And he says you should steal all the silverware.
Oh, that's a good one. You know why? That is inconvenient because this place never has any forks or spoons. So I had to use 2 knives to eat my salad the other day.
After your coffee filter thing, somebody says, ew, I don't feel comfortable listening to the show anymore. And I agree.
Yeah.
That was
I didn't say used it.
Yeah, you liar.
Ron is implying that, which I find rude, inconvenient, and inappropriate.
Amy, you're the best.
Thanks.
This texter says, were the coffee filters new or used?
That's a gross question.
It is a very disgusting question.
They would be new, but it's a gross question.
Yeah. All right. I guess that's that. What's next?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk to Bloomington Police Department, the public information
That's right.
officer, because they are giving out vouchers for people with burnt out lights. I would like to know how this program is going. Officer Brant Parsley.
Yeah.
And maybe some music next.
Every hour.
Every day of the year.
News Radio 1120 KMOX keeps you informed.
Nothing stops the flow.
Nothing stops.
It's your news, always.
Because it's important.
I have to know what's happening in my city.
What weekend plans are ruined because of the weather?
Local sports, local economics.
Thank you for keeping us informed. You do a brilliant job laying it out.
The news of the day, every day.
Super important for me to know.
News Radio 1120 KMOX.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-5555. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, behind on taxes houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-5555. That's 314-782-5555.
Hi, I'm Tom Connors. Went to Mark Patrick's hypnosis seminar February 6, 2019. Nothing worked before. Left there and never smoked again. Amazing. Easy, affordable, and guaranteed. A year later, with my wife Michelle, attended Mark Patrick's weight loss seminar. She lost 18 pounds and I lost 43 in 8 weeks.
It's true. He smoked 2 packs a day and nothing worked until Mark Patrick Hypnosis. Now we're losing weight together, eating healthy, full on half the food, crazy, enjoying exercising. Who would have believed Mark Patrick Hypnosis really works?
It's amazing. I can breathe again. My blood pressure went down and I've got so much energy.
So much energy.
And look great.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99. Hypnosis is designed to destroy unwanted cravings. That's right, seminars, Wednesday, February 1st at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, St. Louis Airport in St. Louis, and Thursday, February 2nd at the 4 Points by Sheraton, St. Louis, Fairview Heights, and Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar, 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar, 8 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminar.com.
At 12:30, we've got sun and 50 degrees downtown at the Arch.
CBS News special report. The police body camera video showing the attack on former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband has been made public by the San Francisco Superior Court. In the video, officers are seen approaching the home and find the suspect David DePape and Paul Pelosi fighting over a hammer.
Drop the hammer.
No.
Hey. What is going on?
CBS's Carter Evans.
There was a struggle for the hammer between DePape and Pelosi that is apparently captured on the body camera, as well as what police say happened next, which was that DePape swung that hammer at Pelosi's head.
And both men fell to the ground.
He allegedly admits to police what he was planning to do, which was kidnap Nancy Pelosi and break her kneecaps.
DePape has pleaded not guilty to 6 charges, including attempted murder. CBS News special report. I'm Stacey Lynn.
We've got some debris on 270 West at McDonald Boulevard. The 2 left lanes are closed. Also a crash on 270 East at McDonald. The left lane is blocked. And some debris on 70 West at Mid-Rivers Mall Drive. That's got the left lane closed. Dean DeVore says clouds will break for some sun. High today of 50 to 54 degrees. Cold tonight with some clouds, a low 33. And tomorrow begins with early sun, moves to clouds, some showers, breezy in the afternoon, and a high of 51 degrees. Sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. 50 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Broadcasting from the Underline Three Lawyers. GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Over 30 years ago, it was that can-do spirit which helped the founder of Reinhold Flooring start the business, installing Reinhold quality carpet and beautiful flooring himself. Now, Reinhold Flooring is still family-owned and operated and winning St. Louis Magazine's Best Flooring Store 2 years in a row. With Reinhold Flooring, it's not about the sale, it's about the amazing floor to perfectly match your house and your life. Customer-driven since day one. Visit ReinholdFlooring.com. With so many ideas you can do it with a can-do crew at Reinhold Flooring. ReinholdFlooring.com.
I'm Dakota Hudson.
I'm Jordan Hicks. I'm Cardinals pitcher Jack Flaherty.
I'm Tommy Edmonds.
I'm Cardinals outfielder Jordan Walker.
I'm Paul DeYoung.
I'm Woodson Contreras.
I'm Adam Wainwright, and you're listening to the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
KMOX is Cardinals Radio.
A couple of weeks ago, we talked about a new program in Bloomington, Illinois, where they are handing out vouchers to people that they have pulled over in traffic stops to have their broken taillights, headlights, any kind of lights that are out on the car. Instead of issuing a citation, they've decided to give out vouchers to have those things fixed. And to join us to discuss this is Officer Brant Parsley, Public Information Officer for the Bloomington Police Department in Illinois. Officer Parsley, good to have you with us today. Thanks for taking the time.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's good to be here.
So let's talk about this. Actually, here's the funny thing. I'll give you this story. The only time I have ever been pulled over in my life for a tail light or a turn signal or anything like that was out was in Bloomington, Illinois. And my question is, why didn't you do this like 15 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, we wish we would have, but yeah, no, we're going to start this, I believe, the first week of February. So if you get up here again and you have a tail light out, we'll get you taken care of.
Let me get it burned out first, and I'll come up and visit.
Well, along those lines, and I don't mean this to be facetious, but is there a possibility that people might think headlights are expensive? It's going to cost me $250. I'll just drive around with it out until I get pulled over?
Well, so we've heard that, and yeah, there will be instances of that, I'm sure. But overall, we think we're going to be able to help a lot of people pay for some costly repairs that maybe they wouldn't have been able to pay for otherwise. So we think overall it'll be a good program that people won't try to take advantage of.
Where did the idea come from?
So we recently, well, about a year ago, we got a new chief, Jamal Symington. He was with the Illinois State Police for a number of years, and he came here, and his big focus is on community engagement. He formed a community engagement unit, and through that unit, we've had the opportunity to go to 230 some odd events, in-person events here in the Bloomington Normal area. And just to continue that and try to better relations with the community, he decided that he wanted to pursue this Lights On program. And if you know anything about Lights On, it's from Microgrant. It's a company out of Minnesota. And the way that it works, we found that Country Insurance was willing to do the initial donation, and then Microgrant, they match their donation, and then they set up the vouchers. They send us the vouchers. They tell the officers, these are the violations that we can issue them, and they pretty much set up the whole media thing and everything. So it's a really great program.
Now, you became the public information officer for the Bloomington Police Department back in 2022. So not quite a year on the job, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
And then I guess part of that community engagement, have you seen this improvement then with the Bloomington Police Department and the community, just an overhaul of the approach, saying, hey, we're all in this together?
Yeah, I mean it's been night and day. We've been to every possible event you can think of, and when we first started, it was why are the police here? And you'd get some looks when we'd walk in our uniforms and that kind of thing. Now it's just expected that we're there. Everybody treats us, like we belong. And so, the goal has been, to establish a better relationship with the community. And I think we've done that. So everywhere that we go now, the police, the people are overall very friendly and very welcoming. And if you show up to an event now, it's, oh, hey, they know me by my first name. It's not, oh, it's a police officer. They know me by my first name. So kind of humanizes the badge. And we've kind of used that to, do that with all of our officers now. We try to have different officers go to the different events so that the community gets exposure to our officers. And it's been very beneficial for the community as well as the officers, because the officers enjoy it because, instead of meeting somebody at a tragedy or, when we're going to have to do an enforcement action, now we're meeting them at a cookout or, at their church service or a various, activity that's fun and pleasant. So it's beneficial for both the community and the officers.
Well, I know Bloomington, Illinois is not like St. Louis, and it's a very different makeup than it is, Chicago or something like that. What you're doing there appears to be working, at least so far. What do you think bigger cities can take away from what you're doing?
Well, I think bigger cities can, implement a lot of the things that we can. I mean, obviously there's going to be, certain opportunities that bigger cities have that we don't have. You guys have large festivals and large events where you can meet thousands and thousands of people at a given time, where we're meeting people. Sometimes we go to events where we meet 7 or 8 people, but for a city like St. Louis or Chicago, you could get your police force out there with people in the neighborhoods that they patrol, and you can meet 5,000-10,000 people at a time. So your reach would be a lot greater. And I think if they just followed kind of the model that we've been doing, I think it would be very beneficial for them.
And as you mentioned, being at those events, so people, instead of wondering, why is a police officer here, they expect it. You're part of the community. Also, pulling someone over because a headlight is out and then you end up handing a voucher, it makes that interaction, it makes it more positive versus negative. And I know in a situation or in an occupation that's so tense and so often fraught with peril, that if you can take any interaction and either make it positive or at least set the expectation that it's not necessarily bad, that can go a long way, not only improving relationships between police and community, but also keeping people safer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have a duty to, make sure that the equipment violations are stopped, because that is a danger to the roadway or to the motorists. But, as you mentioned, a traffic stop is very stressful for the person that's being stopped. But what people don't realize is it's also very stressful for the officers, because, the one thing that we do where there is absolutely it's all unknown as a traffic stop. You know, if you get sent to a call for service, usually dispatch has information about what you're going into. But a traffic stop, you might be stopping somebody on their way home from church, or you might be stopping somebody that has, you know, drugs or guns in their car. We just don't know. And you know, as you said, if we can take these situations and make them less stressful for the community members and less stressful for the officers, that's the goal, right? And you know, set that expectation that just because you get pulled over, it doesn't have to be a negative police interaction. That's what we're striving for.
And you've gotten, I know that there is some sponsorship here that there's it's Country Financial, right? That's offering money to help pay for this. It's not just strictly taxpayer dollars, correct?
So that's the great thing about this. It is not taxpayer funded in any way, shape, or form. So if you know about Bloomington, we actually are the main office for Country and State Farm. Both is here. Country saw this as an opportunity, you know, to help their insured by getting them, you know, some free equipment, you know, and that kind of thing. But yeah, no, they made the donation, and the really neat thing is the Lights On program will also match their donation. So they do that, and then it's believed to be this will be a continual program that continues on, especially, you know, as we get it up and running and see the positive impact and positive results. And with Country having such strong ties to Bloomington, I believe they'll want to remain a sponsor for, you know, from now on.
So Officer Parsley, right as we were coming to our conversation with you, I texted my aunt because I have family in Bloomington. We always talk about my cousin Will from Bloomington. So Bloomington comes up in conversations a lot. And I thought, I should text my aunt and let her know that we will be talking to you. And so she just texted back, right? Not hearing the show, just texted back. She said, "Oh yeah, we see them at more community events. They're very approachable and casual." And I thought, well, that's literally what you just said. So it's working.
Well, that's absolutely perfect. But you had me a little bit nervous. I thought maybe you were going to tell her if her headlight was out to just drive by the police department or something.
Yeah,
You're never going to believe this deal.
Yeah, right.
I'll just sit out front and like, hello, look at my car.
Headlights out.
Clearly, where's my voucher?
No, but I do think that says a lot. I know our police departments here, and we have 58 of them in St. Louis County. I know that's
a lot, right?
That's a lot of police departments.
Wow.
It's a thing. But I know with the Clayton Police Department, for instance, they have, you know, coffee with cops. I think that is a lot in a lot of areas. But it's fun because, you know, as you mentioned, it's just an event, and it can be every other week or once a week, and they're at a coffee shop, and the community can go up and talk to the officers and get to know them. And then you see them drive by and you wave, and it gives you that feeling that you're all in this together rather than they're out to give you a ticket or they're out to get you.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, you know, when you meet anybody that's wanting to become a police officer, you will never meet somebody that will say, you know, boy, I sure am looking forward to writing people tickets and, you know, doing traffic stops, because we don't want to do that. Everyone gets to be to be a police officer for the community service aspect of it. And, you know, the coffee with the cops or, you know, the various other community events that you go to, that's your real chance to truly help the community and become involved and show the members of the community that you do care. And it's not, well, I'm a police officer, that's my job for, you know, 8 hours, 12 hours, whatever, and then I go home. It's, you know, going to these events outside of your work hours and spending, you know, good quality time with the community. You can show them that, yeah, you really do care about community service and wanting to help people. So
yeah, like we established earlier, Officer Parsley, we know Bloomington is not the same dynamic as a larger city like this one or like Chicago, but we also know that the police departments around the country are preparing for a day like today. I know you've heard about the situation in Memphis with the 5 officers who have been terminated and being charged with murder, and the body cam footage is coming out today. On a day like this, are there extra preparations even in a town like Bloomington normal?
Well, I mean, of course, there's preparations because we always have to anticipate the worst, right? The worst thing for a police department would be being unable to help their citizens because we were unprepared. So we always plan out worst case scenario, and then we hope that it's always way better than that. With something like what occurred in Memphis, you know, I haven't seen the video, obviously, but from what I'm hearing, no police officer is going to condone that type of behavior. And to be real honest with you, that's the kind of thing that ruins the profession for everybody. Because here in Bloomington, we will have to answer questions about that, and we had nothing to do with that. So it's unfortunately, while policing is a great profession, we are tied to every other police agency in the United States. So if one of them does something that's inappropriate and wrong, we all have to answer for it. And but yeah, to answer your question, we always have we prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
So when officers who are in the field who see something like this happen and then they see the result of what happens, does that in the moment make them approach traffic stops or approach contacts differently?
Well, I can just say I've been a police officer for 15 years, and I've worked in two different agencies. Bloomington, as you mentioned, is markedly different than St. Louis. You still have to be very careful when you're doing your traffic stops here in Bloomington. But I will say this: the community is very, very pro-police. They're very, very supportive of the police now. And just to give you some kind of insight, when the George Floyd tragedy occurred, we had more food, more donations as far as food, water, Gatorade, all that kind of stuff for the officers from the community than we've ever had before. We had to have additional rooms where we were putting things because we ran out of places. So yes and no. Nationally, we see what happens, but Bloomington and a lot of our other smaller towns, it's a little bit different here than it is in the big cities. The community really comes out and lets us know, hey, we know you guys aren't responsible for this stuff, and we're thinking about you. So
I think that just goes to show, though, like you said, how important community efforts are between law enforcement, police officers, and the people in the community, because every neighborhood is different. Every city is different. And so that means that the dynamic is different. The issues facing your town or city may be different. So it really is important to tie in and be plugged into the people and the police officers, and having that relationship, a good relationship and unique to each area.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, when you sit down any police officer and they go in for their interview, the number one thing that they answer, because I've got to hear a lot of these interviews, it's always, well, I want to help the community, or I want to help people. And you cannot help people and help the community if you're unwilling to be involved with the community. If I would encourage every police department that can and has the means to do the community engagement when they can, because it's tenfold. The community appreciates it. You get to help somebody, and I'm telling you, the officers, they really enjoy it. So there is no negative to doing good community outreach.
Brant, we appreciate the time today. We will good luck with the new program, and we will check back in to see how things are going.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. It was a lot of fun.
That is Brant Parsley, Public Information Officer for the Bloomington, Illinois Police Department. And again, their new program starting up here soon. If you get pulled over with a burnt out light, your signal, your headlight, your tail light, instead of a ticket, you will get a voucher that will help you get it repaired.
And I like how he said, sure, there may be somebody who misuses it, but he thinks overall we're going to help people who need the help. And that's the right way to view it.
That's the thing about any program that helps people generally. It bothers me when the initial response is, well, somebody's going to abuse it. Yeah, okay.
And for the record, I said that, not the officer.
No.
Yeah.
But the general public, for some reason, doesn't like it when others get free stuff, unless it's them, of course, and they think it's great. But it bothers me when the first default reaction is, well, someone's going to abuse it. Well, okay, what if you give it to 10 people, one person abuses it? Aren't the 9 people using it appropriately? Isn't that worth it?
And I think that's the key. I think when you make a program, yes, you're going to assume someone's going to abuse it. They always are. So
every program gets
so
abused.
Make it in a way that it's not naive, right? That you think, okay, this will make abuse a little bit harder, but we can help the most people. I think that's how a program should be approached.
Yeah, absolutely. It's greater good, right? Amy Marks Coors, Chris Ranji, you've got KMOX.
And STL FenceWorks, well, you've got them too, because they're in your neighborhood, your community, and they're family owned and operated and locally owned and operated. And I think that's a really big deal nowadays when so many stores are just either big box stores or they keep buying each other up. So it's just one brand. You just want to talk on the phone. You end up hitting buttons. You can't even talk to a real human. Well, you can at STL FenceWorks because Russ and Carolyn Long opened STL FenceWorks back in 1971, and now their son, Sean Timothy Long, well, he runs the company. And never once in their over 50 years, over a half a century, have they ever wavered in their time-honored commitment to quality, service, and affordability. And yes, affordability even now. You see, they've made deeply discounted winter buys on vinyl fencing and aluminum fencing, and they've been able to pass those savings on to consumers. We're talking pre-pandemic costs. That is big savings. Visit them today. The weather is going to turn. It's going to be spring and warm, and you'll be outside in your backyard before you know it, so you don't want to wait. STLFenceworks.com.
The St. Louis Symphony Orchestra and Disney Concerts proudly present Star Wars: The Force Awakens in concert February 3rd through 5th at Powell Hall. Watch the iconic film as the SLSO performs John Williams' Oscar-winning score. Tickets available at slso.org or by calling 314-534-1700. Don't miss Star Wars: The Force Awakens in concert with live orchestra.
Hi, this is Steve Butts at the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. This year marks our 60th anniversary serving our clients and friends, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Norbert Butts. As your local independent insurance agency, we've been proud to represent many fine carriers such as Safeco, Travelers, and Progressive. So please give us a call for all your insurance needs. 314-752-2500 or crawfordbutts.com.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. Make the switch to green soaps and personal products and green cleaning products for the sink and shower. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Need to sell your home, but not willing to play the wait and see game? This is Debbie Monterey with Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty. With Gloria Liu, you have seller options to choose from, including a no obligation cash offer from one of Gloria Liu's cash buyers. It's simple, straightforward, and in many cases, you can receive a cash offer in less than 24 hours. No more wait and see game. And you can even pick the closing date. With Gloria Liu and her cash offer program, you are always in control. Not ready for the cash offer? No problem. Gloria Liu has a guaranteed sold program that states Gloria will sell your home at your agreed to price and time frame, or she will buy it herself, guaranteed in writing. Gloria has solutions and options for every seller. So call today and ask about Gloria's no obligation cash offer program or the guaranteed sold program, 314-325-6888, or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
This is Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates. For the best eye doctors, you need to see the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. YourEyeDoc.com, 314-966-5000.
Are you concerned about higher taxes, soaring inflation, and what's next for the stock market? Don't miss Your Retirement Professors this Saturday afternoon at 1 on St. Louis's News Radio. KMOX.
Track your blood donations right from the palm of your hand and stay updated on special promotions. Download the American Red Cross Blood Donor app today. To learn more, go to redcross.org.
This is the show. The show continues on KMOX.
It is the show, and he's Chris Ranji. I'm Amy Mark Scores, and we have a correction. Because do you remember in the Did You See This? Or as John Hancock called the segment, the What Are We Talking About segment? Well, my computer froze. Here's a clarification on President Biden's nominee for federal judgeship. So this was a federal judgeship in Washington state, and the judge was unable to answer a couple of questions from Senator John Kennedy. Those questions were like, tell me about Article 5 of the Constitution and tell me about Article 2. And she could not do that. And Article 5 has to do with the process of amending the Constitution. Article 2 has to do with the executive branch. So that was the page that froze up. But I don't know if you heard about the asteroid, Ranj, that is hurtling
Wait,
towards
does this
the Earth.
judge have anything to do with the asteroid?
It might. This is going to be a great tie-in. No, he doesn't.
No.
No, she doesn't. I just wanted to clarify
something that
happened 3
nobody
hours
remembers.
ago. This asteroid is close to the Earth.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal because it's an
It's
asteroid.
about time.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. They say it's going to burn up anyway, but it's the size. The headline was an asteroid the size of a box truck is hurtling towards the Earth.
So is a box truck like a U-Haul?
Right.
Okay.
Right. And it made me laugh because I want to be the person that picks the size of. Because one time NASA tweeted out something about it being, the size of 3 giraffes stacked on top of each other. And a woman had a very good question, which is, well, how are the giraffes stacked? Are they stacked on each other's heads or on each other's backs? Because there's a big difference when it comes to a giraffe.
Okay.
Okay. So someone complained that, the United States will do anything to avoid using the metric system because an asteroid the size of a box truck?
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
Wait.
Well,
so how big? Oh, all right, go ahead.
yeah. So Uberfax on Twitter said, a blue whale is larger than a basketball court. And again, someone said, Americans will use anything but the metric system. To which they responded, come within 3 whales of America and say that.
How, Amy?
But who's picking the size comparison objects?
I don't know.
An asteroid the size of a box truck.
Okay, so how big would an asteroid be the size of a box truck? Would it be 50 feet? No, that's too big. 20 feet, 30 feet.
Yeah. What would you
All
pick?
right.
What do you think is the size of a box truck?
Let's say a 30-foot, I guess a box truck's 30 feet, right? We'll make it 30 feet. Let's say a 30-foot box truck hits this building.
Okay.
An asteroid. An asteroid.
An asteroid or a box truck? What are you
asteroid,
talking about?
An iron asteroid.
Okay.
The size of a box truck. I got out the asteroid launcher.
I know.
So let's see how much damage it would do. Okay. The asteroid blew up 14 miles above the water. That's what it says. 14 miles above water, and it doesn't look like any damage is done.
That's what I told you. I told you the asteroid
I want it to get through the atmosphere.
wouldn't make it.
But
That's
the
what.
explosion would be worth 47 kilotons of TNT.
How many box trucks is a kiloton?
I guess I don't know. I don't have time for this. Dave Glover show's coming up next. Amy and I will stick around for the 1 o'clock hour. Going to find out all about DGS Live from last night. Listen to the Odyssey app. Get the podcast. Anything you missed today. Love you. Happy Friday. Happy weekend. Bye.
Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches.